star. Radio can't explain my heart. Got the words, but they won't come out. Why does every silence gotta be so loud? Overhead, there's a heavy cloud. When it rains, it keeps pouring down. We both know this ain't working out. So take my hand and turn this car around. I'm picking up on all your lows. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. You wanna go, so just let go. Don't leave me on, don't leave me stranded at the end of the road. Holding on too long. Don't leave me all alone. Holding on too long. Don't leave me on, don't leave me stranded at the end of the road. Holding on too long. Holding on too long. Remember when we would lay in bed, cigarettes after second sex. Let you have all my innocence, and I just need a little back again. Overhead, there's a heavy cloud. When it rains, it keeps pouring down. We both know this ain't working out. So take my hand and turn this car around. I'm picking up on all your lows. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. You wanna go, so just let go. Don't leave me on, don't leave me stranded at the end of the road. Holding on too long. Holding on too long. Don't leave me all alone. Don't leave me all alone. Holding on too long. Holding on. Don't leave me on, don't leave me stranded at the end of the road. Holding on too Holding on too I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on too long.
Sunrise with you on my chest. No blinds in the place where I live. Daybreak, open your eyes, cause this was only ever meant to be for one night. Still, we're changing our minds here. Be yours, be my dear. So close with you on my lips. Touch noses, feeling your breath. Push your heart and pull away. Yeah, be my summer in a winter day, love. I can't see one thing wrong between the both of us. Be mine, yeah. Anytime, anytime. Ooh, you know I've been alone for quite a while, haven't I? I thought I knew it all. Found love, but I was wrong. More times than enough. But since you came along, I'm thinking, baby, you are bringing out a different kind of me. There's no safety net that's underneath. I'm free, falling all in you. Far from it, who would have me appear? Yeah. Trapped up on a tightrope, now we're here, we're free, falling all in you. Fast forward a couple years, yeah. Growing up in the place that we live. Make love, then we fight. Laugh cause it was only meant to be for one night, baby. I guess we can't control what's just not up to us. Be mine, yeah. Anytime, anytime. Ooh, you know I've been alone for quite a while, haven't I? I thought I knew it all. Found love, but I was wrong. More times than enough. But since you came along, I'm thinking, baby, you are bringing out a different kind of me. There's no safety Walked up on a tightrope, now we're here, we're free, falling all in you. Every time I see you, baby, I get lost. If I'm dreaming, baby, please don't wake me up. Every night I'm with you, I fall more in love. Now I'm we should burn our bridges now, round above our regrets, and watch them drown. We keep dreaming of the things we should have done, sleeping through our masquerade, guarding our backs on the run. Just take my hands. We'll make a stand. I've had enough of empty words and all the things I wish I said. I'm tired of listening to all the cautions in my head. There's only so much time in our lives. If we're holding back, we can't hold each other. So close your eyes, breathe it in, let's go. Just take my hand. I understand. Oh, your heart says stop and you had enough. That's when you have to keep on going. We'll make a stand. Just take my hands. I understand. Oh, your heart says stop and you had enough. But that's when you have to keep on going. We'll make a stand.
Game activated.
There's a place at the end of the
road. 2018 GSL Season 2 Overgrowth. 2018 GSL Season 2 Code S Overgrowth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another day here of the GSL Code S. We're now in the round of 8. And there are some crazy matches we have coming up here. We've already eliminated so many great players. But with this being, I would say, actually the best season of GSL that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, like world champions, going out in the round of 16. Crazy stuff has been going down.
Yeah, there's definitely been a few upsets, like RO8 getting second place in his group, which gets him to play Maru tonight. Of course, the match that everyone's waiting for.
Right.
ByuN is back. He's on fire. He's looking like he did in championship form, or maybe even better. I mean, this is like a very crazy season right now, and tonight's going to be amazing. We're going to go ahead and show that bracket just to double, triple underline this. Look at that. Rogue versus Maru tonight, as well as Classic versus ByuN. Don't count ByuN out here. He destroyed stats. He's like playing some of the best TVP we have ever seen from anybody. So he goes up against the PVT monster tonight. Of course, on Saturday, we're going to have Zest versus Deer, a couple of the older Protosses, both in good form, I guess, at the moment. Even though Deer has looked bumpy, he's won his group, so good on him.
Right.
Doesn't matter how you look, it just matters if you win. And then TY Gumiho, man.
Yeah, on Saturday we got two excellent mirror matchups. Really tough to call who's going to win that, to be honest. The fact that Deer has torn through everybody is crazy. Zest is looking really better than he's looked in a long time. I think a lot of people would say TY is supposed to beat Gumiho, but the fact that Gumiho upset his group so hard.
Yeah, he was looking good too, wasn't he?
Everybody is right now reasserting themselves. You have ByuN, for instance, here today. He had a bumpy set of games in the Super Tournament, which we casted just recently.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a completely different iteration of him. Rogue, obviously, I think he's looking better than anybody's looked in a long time, but you can never count someone like Maru out in a situation like that. Overall, this group is just so exciting. Classic as well. This guy is completely revamped.
Dark.
Yeah,
he
that's right.
beat Dark. I mean, that tells you so much. So yeah, it's a crazy day. Both these matches can go either way. Everyone has been asking me all day long, who wins, Maru or Rogue? It's obviously Rogue, but it's going to be a good match. Maru right now the hottest player in the short term, but for the last year, it's been Rogue.
Yeah, well, Rogue is the only thing he hasn't accomplished as of late was actually winning our last GSL Code S.
Pretty much.
Instead of us just naming all the other tournaments that he's been to, we'll just put it like that. So, but you're right. Maru most recently is the hottest player that we have,
and he won that last Code S. So,
that's right.
You know, these guys on their same team too. Ooh.
Coming into this series, I think it will, no matter what, be going into Game 5.
Yeah,
I don't imagine we're going to have a 3-0 here.
I don't think it could be a
3-0.
That doesn't even make sense. Like,
well, I feel like these guys are both so good. I can't imagine many games ending right away.
If there's a 3-0, it's because Rogue 3-0'd, by the way. Because it would be something like he wins Game 1, then he scouts the barracks that are near his base in Game 2. And then maybe it gets out of control. But, yeah, it feels like at least a 3-1, probably a 3-2. It's going to be a sick match, no doubt. It's literally the best Terran in the world versus best Zerg in the world. The two hottest players in the world. I mean, they're both on Jin Air Green Wings. Whoever wins this, I think you have to mark down as, like, the favorite of the tournament, right?
I believe so. Again, though, there's been so many upsets already here in the GSL. Let's put it like this. Expect the winner of this to go on to the finals and possibly take it, but don't be too surprised if somebody does usurp that position and move in their place.
Crazy upsets have been happening all over the world, man. Who knows? As far as I can tell, maybe Mana gets to the finals of this tournament as well.
Yeah, that was another crazy one.
Yeah.
Watching what went down in Austin. Look, this is going to be a lot of fun. I love it when we do get to the round of 8 section of a GSL. The group phases are always fun, but when we get to the point where players are actually beginning to have a lot of time to just prep for one opponent, there's a lot of games that they're going to have to look into. So it's not just unpacking the matchup and the maps, but really diving deep psychologically into how your opponent plays, what his or her strengths or weaknesses are going to be. And the fact that, you know, when in a best of 5 like this, you have enough time to get a better read on your opponent, right?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into that even deeper in a minute here.
장점? 엄청 열심히 하죠. 일단은 피지컬이 너무 좋고 딱 봐도 재능이 너무 뛰어난 아이라고 생각하고 있어요. 단점은 연습을 너무 안 해요. 근데 제가 또 열심히 하면 성재 옆에서 또 열심히 할 것 같아가지고 저도 시험시험 하려고요. 화를 많이 내요. 게임 지고 멘탈이 많이 나가요. 그 얘기를 제일 많이 하는 거예요. 자기가 더 잘했는데 왜 지는지 모르겠어요. 그냥 제가 게임 지면은 이게 화가 너무 많이 나가지고 참을 수가 없더라고요. 형들한테 착하다. 형들한테도 잘 하는 것 같아요. 형주 되게 착하고 정이 많은 것 같아요. 형주가 뭐 자기 관리를 좀 안 하는 것 같아요. 게임만 해요, 하루 종일. 누워있고 게임하고 누워있고 게임하고 그래서 성재가 운동도 좀 하고 자기 관리를 좀 같이 하자.
욕을 많이 해. 게임 치고.
보통 입으로 그래, 키보드 그래.
둘 다예요. 상상 이상이라서.
제가 또 옆에서 많이 배운 게 있어가지고 지금까지 수구생활 하면서 많이 배워가지고 성재야 프로 1등으로 올라가고 싶었는데 너무 미안하고 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠다.
형은 정말 만나기 싫었는데 이렇게 만나게 됐으니까 재밌게 하죠.
그래도 그 약간 멘탈을 깨우쳐주겠다.
그러면 열심히 할 것 같아서. 네, 그날 열심히 할 것 같아요. 집중해가지고 할 것 같아서.
I really liked that interview.
Yeah, that was cute.
funny.
Don't forget these two, of course, are teammates. They've lived together a long time. Makes the match all that much more interesting.
That's right. We're going to be going into the interview with these two players, find out what their thoughts are in the moments before this round of 8 match.
안녕하세요.
Hello, Maru. Hello, Rogue. Hello,
자,
hello.
먼저 조성주 선수, 이병렬 선수만 아니면 2연속 우승도 가능하다 했는데 정말 딱 올라왔습니다.
So you said as long as you weren't facing Rogue, you could probably make it to the finals of these, but here you are facing him now. How do you feel?
배신을 해서 너무 마음이 아프고요.
네.
그냥 만나서
Yeah, he said he'd make it out of the group first as well,
불편하다.
and he didn't.
자, 이병렬 선수
So
이번 시즌
he's betrayed me. Here we are now.
우승자들을
I'm very uncomfortable with this.
꺾으면서 올라오고 있습니다. 김대엽 선수도 있었고
So, Rogue,
신영 선수도 있었는데요. 이 조성주
You've been defeating
선수가
many
지는
recent
건
champions on your way to the
기대가
round of 8, such as Stats and Innovation.
성주를
How do you feel about facing Maru?
네.
그냥 저도 마음 편하게 있으려고 했는데
First of all, I think Maru is my adorable teammate.
성주를 정말 만나기 싫었는데
I don't feel great about facing him. I'm a little bit nervous. So in the round of 16, I was pretty disappointed in myself. I thought I should easily get out first, but
자, 이병렬
I guess this is an unavoidable
선수에게서는 아직
situation. So here we are
GSL에서
now.
풀지 못한 이 숙제가 있습니다. 팔병렬 아직 안 깨지고 있어요. 이 팔병렬 자신에게 어느 정도 의식이 되는 문제이신지.
So you haven't quite broken that GSL round of 8 curse. You've lost several times in the past before. Do you feel any pressure? He says yes. I haven't made it to the semifinals of the GSL. So whenever I
이번에도 좀 나태해졌던
go to the quarterfinal matches, I always
네, 블리즈컨
I
우승자에게도
don't know if I can bring my 100%.
GSL 8강의 벽인데, 자 조성주 선수 이 사성주를 깨면서 우승도 하셨던 거잖아요.
네.
그 사성주 깨는 게 정말 어렵지 않으셨어요?
거의 8년 걸렸으니까
네.
좀 엄청
So
어려웠던
Maru,
것
you've broken your semifinals curse. He says, yeah, it took only 8 years to break that.
얼마나 힘든 건지 좀 조언을 해준다면.
일단 이번 시즌은
Can you give any advice on to Rogue on how to break that curse?
다음 시즌에 들었으면 좋겠어요.
네.
I don't think he's gonna have a chance to break that curse this season. So let's focus on next season, Rogue.
이렇게 훈훈하게 서로에게 한마디를 하면서 시작을 해볼까 하는데요.
Before we have our matches, any words you want to say to each other?
일단은
And you first, Rogue.
저는 저도 상관없고 이겨도 상관없어가지고 재밌는 경기만 했으면 좋겠고 올라가면 연습 열심히 도와줄 거지.
I don't have any fear of, or I don't mind if I lose against Rogue, as long as I get to the semifinals.
네.
You're gonna help me train, right?
물어보는데요.
He's asking Rogue this.
물론 도와줘야겠지만
Yeah, of course, I guess.
벌써 일단 자기가 이기는
As a teammate.
생각하고
But-
있는 것 같아서
But saying that,
마음이 아프네요.
he's acting like he's already gonna get there no matter what. That hurts my feelings.
일단 병렬 형만 아니었으면
Anything you want to say to Rogue?
이렇게
As long as
너무 마음이 아프고
it's
누가 이기든 축하해
if it's gonna be against Rogue, I know it's gonna be a great
이렇게
match.
선수들의 이야기를
It's heartbreaking that I'm gonna
자세히
have to defeat you
들어보니까
tonight. So let's have some fun.
없는 것 같은데요. 자, 과연 승자는 누구일지 이 선수들의
All right, so that does it for our interview.
경기 시작하겠습니다.
Very informative.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you do have two people that live together and are on a team. You know, they spend so much time theorizing about the game, practicing, supporting each other, and then when you put them together, they have to use all that against each other. There's also, as has been said before, but it's always worth pointing out, teammate versus teammate, mind games we might not know. There might be a very specific way that Maru and Rogue play the matchup when they practice, and they may be playing around that, and that's something that we don't quite get to see, but that can indicate why there will be some weird games coming up here.
Yeah.
As they're trying to outsmart each other. They already know what their opponent knows about them. So I don't know what to expect.
Well, yeah, I really like what you're saying about how they kind of know each other and how that goes. I think the most interesting aspect of that is the double proxy barracks rushes that Maru is always pulling out. Rogue knows about those, but Rogue also will do things like not even get a gas early on so that he's stronger against rushes like that, right? So
I will imagine we'd see a double proxy at least once.
It's Maru, so you'd expect once, twice even.
But maybe none.
Yeah.
Maybe he plays completely avoiding that. I don't know. You have to imagine he practiced those rushes against Rogue, right?
Of course.
So I guess they both know the limits at which those the attacker and the defender, how much they can stretch that advantage.
I think they've shown clearly that Maru is the best proxy double barracks Marine rusher in the world, and Rogue is the best at fighting against that out there. Right, and I think that only makes sense that they would be on the same team, the two people with those attributes, especially when it's the best Terran in the world and the best Zerg in the world, right? So that being said, for me, that is one of the two very interesting things in this match. What happens with the double proxy barracks rushes? The other one is if we get into a pretty standard, or not standard because there isn't a standard quite yet, but an even late game.
I was thinking about
like?
that as well. Is Rogue is probably the scariest late game player that there ever has been in StarCraft 2. He really shows just how many things you can throw out there and try to wear down an opponent. But Maru is very good at late game.
He is.
Especially this modern Maru that we're seeing.
Yeah, and he's really shown a lot of skill in it. Of course, it's changed because the Raven is different, and you got to be careful because if you get into like a slower pace late game, that's where Rogue really shines. I kind of feel like the key for Maru winning this is like kind of going out on a limb. I probably shouldn't even say this, but like I almost feel like maybe the key for Maru here would be like going mech and hitting one of these pushes that hits the Zerg just as Vipers are coming out, and it kind of gets decided there. You know what I mean? Where it's like Roach, Hydra, Viper against a max mech army.
So it's like a window timing where he comes in and he gets in at a very specific moment before Rogue has all the tools. Yeah, maybe.
Right? Because other than that, it's Rogue is strong. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
Map 1 is on Catalyst. This is Maru versus Rogue. A fight to get to the final four of the GSL Code S.
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
To what you were saying earlier, Artosis, I think this map is actually really cool to test these two guys out on.
Yes.
Because late game can be very taxing on both sides. I think it could be maybe slightly in the advantage for the Terrans as Terran expand a little bit more slowly.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
But you also have the fact that Rogue has the best late game ever. And certainly this is something any good Zerg player has to ultimately deal with, is maps that can be divided in half easily and have the later expansions for the Zerg are easily poked by the Terran.
It is true.
So you have to imagine that Rogue has a plan for that. And keep in mind, guys, nobody is going to make you play a super late game if you don't want to. And we've seen a lot of great players play around that. They'll try to end the game right away because they don't like the situation the map puts them on.
Yeah.
That's what makes StarCraft so great, is that there are so many different ways to win, and to become a champion of the GSL Code S, almost exclusively you have to have a variety of different openers and styles and approaches. You got to be deceptive in some games, solid in others.
Yeah.
And so let's see how Rogue handles this.
Yeah, it's all very, very cool that these two are actually playing right now, because we always say like, oh, this could be a finals. It is the best two players right now, and
by all current metrics, absolutely.
By any way you want to measure it, these are the best two players in the world. You see that Rogue definitely does have an edge on Maru. Maru's been one of the top Terrans forever, but just recently has been winning championships.
And let's also keep in mind, dude, wait, was this 2 years ago? Remember we had some little contest going on inside of the GSL for the people that work here? We would write down the name of who we thought would win the tournament. Do you remember this? And I wrote down Rogue because we just casted him and he looked so good, and then he did not win. He ended up getting knocked out in the round of 8.
Okay.
And and then we saw several games of Rogue where he looked good in some games and then really bumpy in others. But in the last maybe 8 months or so, Rogue has just suddenly become unstoppable.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
It's very exciting to see him with where he's at. Look at how he's juggling these lings in and out.
Man, those lings are so red. Looks like he gets one, but that contest I actually don't remember.
It was very brief. Someone handed us a
Did I
piece of
win
paper.
it?
No, you did
well,
not.
Then I definitely don't remember
with your
it.
amazing prediction abilities, somehow you did not.
I definitely don't remember it, Tasteless. It sounds to me like you made it up.
Yeah. No, this was...
I probably bet Zest.
Yeah, actually, you might have, because he was playing pretty well back then. Anyways.
Still bet him right now, Tasteless.
Yeah, you're a big Zest guy. I like this about you.
Well, I know how good he is. The thing is, I actually think Rogue is going to win this. I just say Rogue for every tournament until he gets knocked out, and then I'll choose another guy. But like,
yeah, SOS was like that for a lot of tournaments with money involved, like
oh
major
yeah,
money.
you were naming SOS every time.
I'm like,
I'm like, Tasteless, we're
not
at WCS
crazy.
Montreal. He's not even here. Like, you're like, but there's a lot of money on the line.
Okay, so we have Stim on the way. This has actually been quite a passive game on both sides. Now, we don't know, when exactly the pushing is going to come, or, what the patterns are. For instance, with drops that we're going to see here from Maru. It looks like he's probably going to be coming out here shortly with, Medivacs and trying to harass. This is one of the really good builds to try to practice if you want to learn Terran versus Zerg, because you can kind of do it every time in a ladder game against a Zerg, and it's going to be fine. But
it's one of the big standards, and it has been for a little over 2 years, really.
Yeah, it's probably not going to go away for a while.
Known as the 2-on-1. He will be coming out pretty quickly with that. But
one thing I want to note is that Rogue probably knows the normal areas that Maru wants to attack into.
Totally.
If they practice this a lot, because this so far has been the most orthodox standard game, TVZ. But Maru has the option to try to mix it up. He has the option to try to drop somewhere that might be abnormal, and then try to throw the Zerg off footing from there. We'll see.
Well, he's coming out right now with it. Again, the very, very standard move here. Going to go ahead and get that Overlord. Rogue sees exactly what's coming, but he already knew. He already has that Evolution Chamber, getting the +1 carapace. He's already made a ton of queens and is making a nice plume of lings right now to make sure he has enough. So this will probably just come down to Maru kind of trying to shave a little bit off here and there, maybe get a few creep tumors.
Stim pack is now done, and that's where Terran can assert himself in an actual fight. I mean, you could try to kill stuff without Stim, but obviously it's always better to have that, and that finished right when he got to where the creep is over here for Rogue. And so far by Maru, a pretty passive play. He's not trying to overextend here, and that's definitely something you don't want to do against Rogue. Overextending against Rogue allows him to close the game very easily later on.
Yeah, if you let him get into a position where he can get to the part of the game that he likes, it's lights out. So Baneling Nest on the way, as well as that layer. Gonna be able to get into Baneling speed very, very quickly with that. 1-1 coming for Maru. Just a little bit of poking back and forth. Don't expect very much here.
Yep, keeping that pressure on. Now, Rogue's not really losing that much, other than the ability to push creep out in that central location. Now, Terran has really exploded in production. We have tanks coming out. We have Marines 5 at a time being cranked out. But, again, no commitment here by Maru just yet.
Well, he's making these tanks, which I find interesting. You just brought up, right? Like, it really seems, okay, yeah, he's going to rocket them out immediately, because that's a little bit quick for those tanks to be produced. So it seems like he just wants to push and maybe abuse those rocks a little bit, try to get those nice tank volleys. And this, of course, is before Baneling speed is done. So definitely some possibilities for Maru to get damage done with this.
And he can stick these tanks right down here between the geysers.
This is very hard to hit.
Yeah, and this is a pretty secure position. There's more Marines coming up here as well. A scan to identify how many Banelings are over here. And he's actually going to have a very hard time, Rogue is, with dealing with this, even with the Banes. I mean, the tanks are, you basically can't reach them as the Zerg. You know that Maru's going to have his hotkey set up so he can try to gun down the Banelings as they get in range. And now Maru's actually isolated this expansion.
Really nice move here by Maru. You can see Rogue kind of spreading everything out. The Banelings definitely spread quite a bit, but so many Lings going down right now. The Queen's starting to have to use all their transfuses.
Yeah, well, panicked transfuses coming down there, blanketing some of those Queens, but the push continues on. A lot of these Queens now taking some damage, and the creep has been denied. The Baneling stuck in the back. Wow. I think that's going to be it for game one.
You're definitely right about that.
GG, Maru takes it.
Right.
Woo!
The constant sniping of that creep and making it all slow there, the abuse of those 2 tanks. Very well done. That was standard from Rogue, what he was up to. And notice where Maru never even moved from those rocks. He had this plan from the beginning. He sat on top of those rocks. If those rocks had not been there, right, if Rogue had had a chance to clear those, like, I don't know if he wanted to clear those, but if he had cleared those, then maybe he can engage down there. But as is, like, Maru cut that little area in half and just punished Rogue immediately. That was one of the most decisive Terran Berserks I've ever seen against someone like Rogue.
It was very subtle, but once he got in there, you're right, he had the tanks over there, but he also was very quick to deny all the little creep tumors there.
Yeah.
Once the creep tumors were all killed off, and he started to push that third base,
yeah,
the creep was actually not connecting the second base and the third base. And you saw the queens that were trying to rush forward to soak up damage, to fire some shots on that army, and to basically act as sponges so that the banelings could get in there and do that damage. They were off creep. Everything slowed down hugely. The banelings were stuck behind the queens. Really good targeting there by Maru. And that's got to be scary for Rogue, because if you had covered up that Zerg player's ID and had me guess who that was, I would not have thought it was Rogue. I am used to Rogue not dying to anything early on.
Yeah.
Unless it's the craziest all-in ever.
Yeah, and that wasn't really that crazy. He had 2 engineering bays going and stuff. He made the tanks very early, so that was kind of like, I guess, the giveaway, but Rogue completely unready for that push. And I feel like that's the first time we've seen that particular push. In fact, I'm sure in GSL, that's the first time we've seen this push on Catalyst.
But it's also important to note he put the 2 tanks in the medevac so they would not be spotted. You just assume those are more Marines or something else coming out. A lot of times with that push, we'll see with the next 2 medevacs that come out after the first 2, there'll be more Marines, and they'll start trying to hit different locations. We've seen Maru do that. We've seen Innovation do that. But he suddenly appears with 2 tanks there. He sets up a position right outside where the Zerg is occupying and just abuses him. It was a really straightforward,
he was
quite
so
brilliant way to quickly end a game against someone like Rogue.
Yeah, he was so slow moving with his initial 2-on-1 push as well. He wasn't ever even committing it a little bit. Like, he sniped a couple tumors a couple times. He wasn't letting the medevacs take any extra damage or anything like that, because that's where Rogue starts to gain a little bit of an edge. Maybe he can push this all back. But, I mean, just so well done.
The passive play worked out. I mean, had he been stimming and attacking and flying in here, then, yeah, the medevacs are more damage, like you were saying. The Marines might be a little bit lower on HP. Instead, the moment the tank set up, he has full HP Marines, full HP with as much energy as they had. They weren't bled out that much for maybe 1 or 2 stims that came in there to get creep tumors. But a lot of energy on those medevacs, and that was just something that Rogue could not contest.
Yeah.
And we will not see that strategy again, by the way.
I don't think so.
I would not imagine you use that once in a best of 5 and toss it aside.
Well, that map in particular is the only map with terrain that will allow exactly what Maru did. That was so map specific.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So yeah, 2-on-1 we definitely could see again, but it won't look like that.
Yeah, no quick sneaky tank push. Okay, we're gonna go on to map number 2 on Backwater, Maru versus Rogue.
Fight! Jin Air Green Wings, Maru. Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
So, you know, we keep talking about how crazy this matchup is, right? But not only does, like, okay, so first off, if Rogue beats Maru, his ZVP is just so scary. Oh, that is great.
That is really
Look
good.
At that.
Damn. Look, that's Castor Park right there in the middle.
It's a Marauder and an Adept. It couldn't be more scary than that. But yeah, it's like if Rogue wins this match, he's like, I think, a gigantic favorite to win the tournament. But at the same time, if Maru wins this, I'm looking at the rest of that bracket, and I'm telling you that Classic is the favorite at that point. If you look at his matchups and stuff, it's like he is the best PvT, and he is one of the very best PvP. You know, I wouldn't call him the best PvP, but he's easy top 3 PvP. So I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's amazing for Classic. He could pick up another GSL.
Sure.
Of course,
yeah.
things could go differently. ByuN's been playing amazingly. Maru's been playing amazingly. It's just so much of what this GSL is likely to look like is hinged right now. The last Zerg in the round of 8, Rogue. Can he take down Maru, the defending champion?
Okay, Scout comes in now. Again, on this map, you pretty much get your third base for free. There's only one place to push by ground. Obviously, you can drop it, but this incentivizes players to try to get several expansions up early on. And you have to be pretty technical if you're going to try to actually engage somebody. You can still do it, but to engage somebody on 3 bases. A lot of times for the Zerg, it's the 4th base where that we want to watch for, especially on a map like this. That's going to be the point of tension.
Yeah, and you know, now that you say that, and it does look like it's going to be once again a 2-on-1, but that goes again to show how crazy that last game was, that you killed Rogue on 3 bases, because that just doesn't happen. That's normally like all
Zergs almost never die on 3 bases.
Yeah,
unless
it's not that year anymore.
Yeah.
At one point maybe, but
you know, generally speaking, and this is kind of true for all RTSs, but whenever something dramatic has changed, a lot of games end up very short. People kill each other right away. And then players get better at defending, and it's usually the player that can keep expanding and macroing up that tends to win. That's why ByuN's win when he was a world champion was so shocking, because he really was just out-controlling people and out-microing them, and just picking fights and winning it. Sort of, in many moments, the big game theory was not as important as how good your control was in all these little instances.
Yeah, when your control is as good as ByuN's especially.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's just gonna
the Lings run by and then run back and kill him. Like, okay, that's great.
It's not wrong.
We're gone. Yeah, the 2-on-1 going to be coming out again this time. Just going to be more harass focused. Now, Rogue not countering quite yet. We're waiting to see an evolution chamber. There it is, and some more queens. And that's how you start to counter this. Pretty much agreed upon from all the pro Zergs. You want to have a bunch of queens. You want to get +1 carapace relatively quickly for your Lings.
Yeah, you need to be beefy.
Yeah.
Well-controlled Marines can just gun down so much, and a lot of times the Zerg hasn't actually exchanged anything. They're just bleeding off units. We've had several games where people come out with the 2 medevacs and attack some locations. I think it was Innovation who did this more than once, but just attacked and then picked up and moved and attacked, and then eventually he's like, oh, you don't have anything anymore, and ended the game.
And that was all Marine base. Yeah, Innovation and ByuN definitely had a long time where they were both kind of playing like that, and just killing Zergs. But everyone kind of holds it now. This game, that last game, again, it's like it wasn't even Marine base. It was really those 2 tanks from Maru that ended up doing it and killing. But the move out is coming now. Huh. Oh, okay, never mind. Thought that was like that medevac was going somewhere weird, empty, and I'm like, what? No, it's just going to meet up with the unit. Sorry.
No, he's just going to merge up. And so Maru's, it looks like, at least so far, he's playing a little bit more of a normal game. Well, he's making tanks again, but let's see what happens. Okay, so here's that moment. You can see so far Maru only losing 1 Marine, just shaving off a few Lings though. Rogue's defense is pretty good. Looks like he wanted to fake trying to go into the main, but Rogue identifies the moment that they don't appear there immediately that in fact he's going to come down here and push those creep tumors. Maru with really intelligent movement here on the map.
Yeah, trying to fake him out a little bit here. But Rogue, he's not overreacting really to anything. He has pretty good map vision at the moment. Sees that there's no 3rd command center being made quite yet. Oh, look at this move. Kind of nice. Forces that lift off. And actually, this moment, we've seen some really top-end Zergs try this before, right? But this is a great move from Maru where he's trying to land these. If you can force the liftoff once when you have a big clutch of Lings, sometimes you can force them to run so far back to unload because the Lings are underneath those medevacs that you can get some more creep tumors down.
Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, they just can't land again. And that's sort of what we have here now. There's no ground army pushing. And especially with the number of Lings that are out, armor is just now finishing up too. Yeah, it's very hard to try to contest anything.
It looks like he wants to push again with these siege tanks. So it's a different map, and I was saying we weren't going to see this again, but we are. He doesn't have the same terrain advantage that we saw in Catalyst.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's doing this again. I truly thought that would be like something you'd whip out, but he's going to come in. 1-1 is about to finish up as well as combat shields. Yeah, the terrain doesn't behoove the Terran the same way it did on game 1.
I would say you can definitely gain some value with this move, but it shouldn't be a kill move, I would say, right?
I don't think so. Let's see, though. I mean, we're kind of unpacking this right now.
Look at those spores. Like, really well placed, but he does get the Marines down.
Oh,
it's slowing the push a lot, though. Did he? Yeah, he lost the medevac, didn't he?
Yeah, he's almost about to lose a second one here as well.
Yeah. Well,
whoa, nice targeting there on that Baneling. So it looks like he's actually going to win the fight on the ground. Had that tank not hit that exact center of Banelings, it might have been a different story.
And Maru continues to try to push down some of this creep. That Baneling speed over halfway done. When that finishes, it's definitely a very crucial moment. But Maru now with just one medevac left here, he's trying to continue to get value out of these 2 siege tanks. I'm not sure how much there's left, though. I'm surprised he's even committing that far in against this many queens, but he does get out.
Yeah, this is quite an outpost he's got set up. You know, if he overstays this, he's going to get overwhelmed with Zerg units, but there are reinforcements coming in, and Rogue did not deny this. In fact, this is pretty ambitious, even pushing through the additional areas where this creep spread. Now, a lot of Lings are coming around here for a counterattack, but it looks like Maru should be fine. Maru really playing a very solid game.
Yeah,
it seems to be a bit inside Rogue's head, to be honest.
Might be. I'm really surprised he tried the build again. And I guess it didn't do terribly.
I mean, he's not in bad shape. He's also continuing to pump tanks here.
He's keeping a lot of pressure on and stuff, but speed is done for Banelings. He's got 1-1, same as Maru. Talking about Rogue here. And with the Spire coming up, because there are so many siege tanks, I guess he's decided to just go ahead and grab that Spire. If he gets a decent little group of Mutalisks, then it seems like he's going to have the right type of army to deal with this. But hold on, this attack coming up. The siege tank's getting picked off quickly. Oh, one lives.
One lives. A few more volleys now onto those queens. When push comes to shove, Maru actually completely controlling Rogue here. Now, Rogue has expanded all the way to the bottom left, the only location that Terran hasn't really given any notice to.
Yeah.
And Maru backs up. Now, if you watch the supplies, Maru is beginning to slowly outgrow Rogue. And a lot of times you can have push after push where nobody's really wiping the other one out. Okay, hold up here. Another big attack coming in here. That last tank will be taken out.
And, well, he's picking up some medevacs here as well. Maru is going to have 2-2 shortly, and that's definitely going to help a lot. But as the mutas come out, this is where Rogue can really start to punish Maru for overextending. When you're just playing Ling Bane Queen, as long as Maru's careful and not too far in on creep, there's not a whole lot Rogue can do, but that is going to change.
Scan here as Maru is leaning in even further. Now, the combination of the mutas, the Banelings, and the Lings, that might be enough to take this out. But again, Maru's targeting has been very strong here.
Look at this play from Maru. Like, he's playing so well. I don't think it's going to work.
Well, it's weird because it seems like none of this should be happening at all, right? And I'm not used to seeing anybody be this in Rogue's face.
Yeah, it feels like he has the most amazing game sense I've ever seen with this pressure. Like, I think this game he's known the entire time he's never going to kill Rogue. But, like, he keeps on moving in and then moving out, right? Like, he was up there, and then he's like, okay, it's time to move back now. He's getting off the creep. He's rejoining his forces and everything. He's forcing Rogue to kind of save defensive and make a bunch of units.
Okay, here comes a big attack. A lot of these Banelings trying to connect up here. The Muta's giving some cover.
Yeah, the Banelings, though, do start to connect.
And now, you know what? There's just too many Lings and Mutas.
Yeah.
The Marines still have to try to run away.
And the medevac's starting to get picked off here by the Mutas. That is a really large group of Mutas here, but a Thor is out.
Yeah, Thor firing down on some of these Mutalisks. It looks like there's just too many Lings, though.
Oh, my God. That was a strong call by Rogue to stay there.
Yeah,
over a group of Marines and a Thor shooting at his
he just
Mutas.
knew exactly how much damage he could take there. It said, no,
that was
fine.
Impressive.
We're going for it.
Yeah.
So that pushed Maru all the way back, and now Rogue is beginning to grow at a pretty frightening rate. Maru, in some sense, said, I think, force Rogue to go into Mutaling Bane. A lot of times that's when you're really having to hold something off.
Yeah.
Mutaling Bane is probably the best at this phase of the game.
Well, especially
when you're just getting past 10 minutes.
This tank-based type of thing.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bit more mobility. You have like this one choke to defend. So I like it for a lot of reasons. In this type of game rather. But Anyways, now that there's Thors out, obviously the Mutas aren't going to be quite as strong, but Rogue once again getting Burrow. We saw this from him previously in GSL. He's starting to use more and more Burrowed Banelings, which we being everybody in StarCraft has been predicting Burrowed Banelings to be like the nuts in StarCraft 2 since Wings of Liberty, but it seems like no one has been fast enough and smart enough and strong enough to consistently use it, but we see Rogue finally bringing that out.
Yeah, well, it's a thing where, I mean, surely for the cost of the upgrade, you're going to have a situation where you can pay for it.
Yeah.
It's going to pay for itself, excuse me. And you're right, we're starting to see this more and more. I mean, we're still unpacking StarCraft 2. That's what you have to remember here. This is not like, oh, this is exactly how you play. No, this is how we understand the game currently.
Indeed. Continues to change. And it's just, this is a great game already.
It really is.
I'm so impressed really with both sides, but Rogue is starting to get pretty big. The thing is, Maru's so good at this late game scenario. He's getting his 3-3 all finished up here. He's getting even armor upgrades for his vehicles.
So Rogue continuing to grow here. He's actually taking that top center base. Maru's expanding now towards the bottom. I think most other bases are going to be a little bit tricky for him to try to take. Here's a big counterattack, though. And with the Liberators and the Thor usage here has been very intelligent. He's not just pushing him out with everything. Whoa!
Oh, no.
Oh, these mines.
Oh, that actually went better for Rogue than I thought it would. That could have been really dirty. But that is a lot of Marauders and Thors in there. Baneling's not the best against this type of unit. Oh, my God. Cost efficiency here for Maru in a lot of ways. But as the Mutas come in, this can really switch it up.
Really nice job dropping the Thor there. Just target down some of those Mutalisks. And I think Maru will actually push out again in just a little bit here. Now, pushing at that bottom left expansion is interesting because even if you deny it, you're probably not going to get anything else, you know? It's that, and then, you know, where does the game go from here? I guess you could try to tear through the creep and push north, but that's the most removed expansion on the map.
It quite is, and if Maru can take that down, it's a pretty big deal. Then he can get rid of all the creep in between. Maybe that base doesn't get taken again for a long time. Oh my God, a counterattack.
Yeah, I thought he was going to raise the wall there.
Right through the rally point. It looks like Maru is just focusing on attacking that bottom left so hard, and a lot of Lings and Banes get in. He might be able to really hurt the economy here, but in the meantime, he might be losing one of his bases.
Oh man, we might be getting...
Almost,
Why
almost.
Are these not exploding? 19 kills there. However, I think just barely Maru can take out the space down to the bottom. There's like a turret here and a mine. The Thor, it's kind of funny. It looks like something in the campaign.
Yeah. The Muta's coming down. He should be able to clean up the rest of this now. Thor gets dropped out to try to target. Ooh, some really good micro there on the Thor, but the magic boxing of the Mutas will help it out. And oh man, with these medevacs being picked off, really liking this situation for Rogue now.
So, we have Hatchery taken again up here at the top. Still no breaking down of that base there for Rogue. Rogue is still hanging on. Again, Rogue with some of the best late game, probably the best late game we've ever had in StarCraft 2.
Across all races, across all players.
Yes, all timelines.
I'll defend you to the death, Tasis, on that statement.
No, because this is what's so scary about him is, okay, he hasn't been killed off. He's grown quite strong. I mean, we've had the creep constantly being contested. It's still pushed out. And now he's getting Ultralisks out here.
And you know what's really cool? Because we saw this, was it Maru versus Solar, I believe, earlier on in GSL, where we got into the late game and Maru was just like, oh, I'll just keep making Marauders. There's no problem here. And he just stays aggressive. This is some cool late game TVZ that we are watching right now, right?
Oh, okay, he actually gets the hatch.
Oh, nice.
Now, that's not really the end of the world. In some ways, that expansion is sort of on the Terran side of the map, but not exactly. Like, it's a little bit more ambiguous.
It's one of those ones that doesn't get taken too much.
If Rogue just soaks up enough of the minerals there, I mean, that's already kind of a victory for him, right? He has easier bases he can try to take.
Yeah.
And Rogue's continuing to shut things down. I mean, he's now maxing out. There's a lot of Ultras coming up here. I don't know if Rogue wants to attack down here at the bottom. I think we're just getting a shot of this base now. I think maybe other than that, there's not a real easy way by ground to attack into anywhere on this map.
No, you're right about that. It's super hard, and if you ever attack into a planetary, if they're starting to get buildings in the way and stuff, and you have an ultra-spaced army, we have seen more than a few top-end Zergs throw games like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tricky. Like, Ultras, truthfully, are a defensive unit. Like, if you use Ultras on creep, they basically beat everything. They clean everything up in your side of the map. But once you start to get over there, that's where the cost inefficiencies come in for Ultras. So we'll see what he gets done. It's a lot of Ultras he has out right now. But Maru's preparing. He's making some Liberators, adding in Ghosts. He did get Drilling Claws for his Widow Mines, and look at that huge amount of Marauders.
Yeah, that can make mincemeat out of those Ultralisks. But at this point, Rogue has actually banked up so many minerals and gas, he can actually start remaking his army pretty fast as he attacks in.
All right, Rogue expanding to the top right now. The Mirror Expo of the bottom left. I love it. I love it. Some harassment here. That Spore Crawler having a hard time. The Queen in the way.
But you can see overall Rogue is kind of ready for this stuff. You know, you want to be getting drones ideally. So nicely done. We're seeing another drop over here. Can Maru actually contest this? Look at the targeting there. Greatly done. Getting just firing down each specific Ultralisk. You know, if you don't have enough mutas and enough overwhelming amount of stuff, Terran can stay there for a long time. It looks like in this case he is going to be able to clean this up.
But some good harassment coming out of Maru while he switches his tech up a little bit. He's getting Cloak right now for his Ghost, adding some more Starports. Some good harass. Corruptors starting to come out, and a second Spire as well. This is very cool play for late game Zergs. I always love Zergs that go into Corruptors. Like, he's already had his mutas, but those aren't really cleaning things up quickly enough. And eventually, the Corruptors, not only can they tank more damage and pick off things like Liberators and Medivacs very well, but eventually he's going to have to kill him with something, and Broodlords is probably that choice.
Okay, but Maru with these Ghosts is starting to snipe away. Ooh. You notice he doesn't want to use his Bailings on that.
You're always afraid that half of them will go in and he'll lift, and you're like, no!
Okay, he's getting nukes. I'm curious to see how nukes are going to look in matchup with these two guys. You know, there's several locations you could try to nuke at, but it doesn't seem like there's one spot that's ideal. Maybe Maru wants to abuse the fact that the map is big and vast, and therefore he can try to nuke locations that maybe Rogue can't keep track of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, these guys are practice partners. They live in the same house, on the same team. And so Rogue should have a lot of practice against this. By the way, a lot of tech labs onto these starports. Tasteless, is he going to make Ravens? Is he going to make BCs? Is he going to make Banshees? Which one is it?
I will hold my breath, Artosis.
I'm excited. Whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm fine.
But he's made a lot of starports.
This is one I don't need to call to make this game interesting, Artosis.
No, certainly not. It's just, what is it? Because Ravens they just don't do the damage they used to do. Oh, it's Ravens.
I guess we did paint ourselves into a corner there.
Oh my God. Well, the thing is, the anti-armor missile does so little damage now.
It still could be viable. Uh-oh.
Well, I guess you're right, because Maru agrees with you, and if Maru agrees with you, both Tasteless and Maru won't be wrong at the same time, okay?
The thing is that, you know, sometimes when things get nerfed, this is like true for any game. When things get nerfed, is people just try to not use it because it's not as good. But in truth, that a lot of times things, you know, when for instance Blizzard tries to nerf a certain unit or it's like a Hearthstone card or something. Yeah. Well, everybody will take it out of their deck, or they'll just take it out of their build order, their unit composition, and then you find out later on, no. I mean, it was still good. It's just not as good, but it didn't make it bad.
I remember something specifically like this. There was a moment where Blue Flame upgrade for Hellions got nerfed slightly.
I remember this,
slightly, and everyone at once stopped going mech in TBT. And I asked Major or Special about it. He's like, "Oh no, mech sucks now." And I'm like, "So instead of plus 10 damage, it gets plus 5, which is still a ridiculous upgrade, and it sucks now?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, you guys are all stupid, okay?" It's like, come on. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's like Ravens are still just the thing.
Yeah. Just maybe not as overwhelmingly powerful. Look at this. This is so smart. Oh! Okay, he gets it. You know, to lose a couple Marauders to take out these bases.
Yeah.
To point out, everybody, the bottom left base is the only thing that's not being mined from, and that I think lost about half its resources.
I didn't even realize that.
This map is about to dry up economically. Now, even though Terran expands pretty slowly, I think Maru got additional command centers, right, to land mules, or am I crazy? We actually haven't gotten that many shots of Maru's base.
I don't think he has. I don't actually think he does. Looking at it, I think he maybe has 1 or 2 extras, but not the huge amount of extras.
Either way, he has a lot of command centers. I'm just wondering who actually mines out more quickly here. Rogue still has a lot of minerals banked up. Maru's only just started that phase of the game.
guess he's
You
going to
gotta
go ahead
wonder.
and kill
I think
this.
you just want to target that down. Or yep. And so, was that a lot of gas? Absolutely, it was. But to just take that base out of the equation, where Rogue has already grown to be huge, basically. And really, the bottom left side of the map, there hasn't been much pushing since Rogue's base was denied. So Rogue can send small guerrilla force down there.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word to use, like a small guerrilla force of 2 Ultralists and then like 15 Banelings.
Well, I guess at this point in the game, maybe, but it makes sense in a way as well because the Ultras are like losing value at this point. They're really strong for a bit, but now that you know the unit sets have completely changed, the Ultras don't counter as hard.
They are quite phasic, like in nature. Like they play a role, but then you basically want to discard them.
Yeah.
In some kind of a
They're like
cost-efficient
big roaches.
way. Yeah. Yeah. They don't have range.
Okay, I like what we're seeing here. I guess Maru has very good defense up to try to stop something like this, but this is something we haven't seen too much in late game ZBT back before the Raven nerf, is additional drops and stuff on the sides of the map. We haven't seen as much as I feel like we should have, but that's what a Burrowed Ultra looks like. Taste, just take it in.
Yeah, that's right. Terran player walks over that, he just falls into that with his Marines.
Falls in and has to like 1v1 the Ultra, whatever fell in there.
That's right. Okay, great denial there on the command center. I mean, these are little victories here for Rogue.
That was a straight up kill, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was not canceled. Now Rogue, again, he's growing economically. And even though he's maxed out, he can't make more. What's scary is after the big fight, he can make whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what you'll do is you'll just look at exactly what the unit composition is that Terran has after the fight and just counter it. Whoa!
This is so cool. He's literally taking out missile turrets with these. Oh, here come the ghosts. Ruin all the fun. All right, get out of here, Corruptors.
But with the ghosts all over there, maybe he'll try to push this bottom left base.
It's really interesting.
I didn't notice there was a Ling there.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he should have just brawled the Ultralist there, because at least it wouldn't land with it.
Yeah.
Oh, the perfectly spaced out Ultra. That's going to get a lot of SCVs, Artosis. This actually is going to be pretty impactful.
That could do something. Look at these air upgrades, by the way. 3-2 going to be finishing up for Rogue. He's like, oh, that's going to be a great connection. Oh, the Corruptors coming out. This is super cool play that we're seeing with these Corruptors. Look at that. Maru can't be everywhere with his whole army. That looks really funny in the air, by the way. The Ultra goes back underground. Back to my cave.
They'll never know. Uh-oh, he better stay underground, too. There's a lot of Marauders going down there.
Okay, the Ultras and Lings going to clean up.
Maru, for a second, they're actually running away from that one Ultra with nothing but Marauders.
Oh, get underground! Oh.
Can't bury your head in the sand on that one, buddy. Okay, so mineral check here. The third base, pretty much mined up. I believe the fourth base is mined out. I don't know about Terran's 2 bottom bases. On the Zerg side, I think he still has 3 to 4 bases with a decent amount of minerals. But, it's that split map problem that you can face as a Zerg player, is that, well, what if Terran just mines out later than you?
I think it was definitely useful that, oh, look at all those missiles. That's really help out. But, okay, anti-armor missile. You see it, that would have looked much different before. But,
yeah. Ooh, that was so good.
I guess just the fact that Rogue got some of those minerals in the bottom left makes it much less valuable.
It's kind of a weird moment. Maru's only making 3 Ravens, and he's at like, okay, he just now started another Mac run. There was a period where it was 3 Ravens making for a long time.
Yeah. Lings and Ultras still being produced here.
Yeah, well,
it's interesting. I thought for sure he'd like eventually go into something like Broods, but I guess he's seeing enough Vikings and Ravens and stuff that he doesn't feel like
what he
he's
might
good.
want to do? He has such a bank account. I think he could remax out, send everything down there, hit it. Remax out, send everything down there and hit it. And maybe Maru can't quite.
And then get up to 160 supply and send everything down there and hit it.
As the Raven count grows, the problems only get worse here for Zerg. It would be crazy if Maru wins this. He's up 2-0 against Rogue.
Yeah, that would be. But that bank account, it is like 4 times as many minerals, 3 times as much gas here for Rogue. So
that's right.
He's doing pretty well. That map is looking
scary. It's one of these funny things where it's like the fact that it's a planetary somehow makes it almost a disadvantage. Can't get out of there. I guess with this many Corruptors, it doesn't matter either. Wow, that's a lot of auto turrets.
Yeah, but without the anti-armor missiles doing insane damage, like It's actually, the Corruptors are flying in, doing damage, then turning around and they live. You know, normally I see those fly and then they all die, and I'm like, oh no, that's too bad.
Rogue is in the red right now for supply. Must have lost a lot of Overlords there.
Yeah.
So
how'd that happen?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was kind of almost asking out loud, like, did we? I don't think I saw a bunch of Overlords killed back there, but somewhere that did go down. Okay, so the upper right base, mineral rich. The rest of these bases for Rogue are not that good. It looks like what Rogue needs to do is keep Maru off of this bottom left base.
Yeah.
Now let's also remember, normally in a split map situation, the Terran player mined all the minerals on the Terran side, the Zerg player mined all the minerals on the Zerg side. Actually, Rogue had that bottom left base, and I think he soaked up, I want to say about half the minerals there.
Yeah,
so,
it may be a little bit less than half, but around there.
But the point of what I'm saying is that he will have actually soaked up more minerals overall, and that actually might allow him to tip the scale in his favor here.
So, like, equal cost efficiency does not win Maru the game. He has to be better than
Exactly.
Moves like that can help, but I guess he only gets a couple.
I wonder this with nukes, because sometimes we see Terrans go a little bit too crazy with nukes, and you know that is a decent amount of your resources.
Yeah. Oh, he scans the Broodlords just as they're being made. 16 Broods is like maybe the most I've ever seen morphed at once. That is a lot. That is a lot of Broodlords, and these are 3/2 Broodlords, so that's pretty significant.
So we'll have to see how many snipes, how many Viking shots can come in here before they start to do the damage. And this is, you know, we use the term death ball, and I think it does sometimes get thrown around too much in StarCraft 2, but this really is a death ball. This is pretty much like if you try to fight this.
I've been saying for a while we should rename Death Ball. We should just call it Protoss Army.
Okay, yeah. This really is a Protoss Army moving down.
Yeah, look at this Protoss Army moving down across the map, man. It's just so scary.
Especially with this number of infestors down here. Okay, here we go.
Dude, that is a lot of Broodlords. Jeez, and they are so clumped. I wonder if there's enough anti-armor missiles to kill them all.
Okay, he's moving forward with spores here. This is the great big push. And a couple Lings coming in here just to interrupt reinforcements. So smart.
That's good stuff. Those little Lings are so cheap, and with 10K in the bank, you definitely want to utilize that. Look at how clumped those Broods are, though. I'm so scared. Even these low damage anti-armor missiles.
He might need to fan them out. The creep is beginning to spread in here.
He's trying to do volleys. How much? That is so much damage. It's like 16 Broodlords attacking Houston with +3 attack.
You can see he's getting rid of some of his drones. He wants to free up more supply. This is a very technical victory if Rogue can pull this off. It's what the Zerg players basically don't get to do. Kills one. He's trying to nuke that area. Do we have an Overseer somewhere?
Well, he's going to bungle and maybe target it. Oh, you better target it.
Get it!
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was crazy.
That was a lot of anti-armor missiles, and those Broodlords are still flying around. They're still flapping.
Okay, he's starting to, now, if he pushes in here and breaks his position, I think in a matter of a minute or two, Terran loses the bottom left. You know, if you take out this position down here at the bottom center, that's all you need.
You're right about that for sure.
Please?
I'm getting like real anxiety from this.
Yeah, this is my heart. Okay. Some ultras coming down here, and this is again interrupting the reinforcements. It's forcing the Ghost to come back. Oh my God, he's nuking
these Ghosts are actually like slowing him down so much. It's insane.
Yeah, but now the Overseers are here. Now he's got to be careful. There are so many Vikings, and the Vikings are being used kind of like almost like turrets. Like they're not trying to engage; they're trying to hold a position. But this is the position right now that Rogue can absolutely begin to assert himself in. It's going to be harder for him to retreat when he's this far out.
Hey, more anti-armor missiles coming in. He hits a lot of them, but
guys, Rogue's bank account, his minerals and gas have dropped significantly. But if you look at Maru, he's spending every mineral that comes in right now. He cannot remax quite. And I think if Rogue can put a little bit more pressure, take out a few more units, any kill he gets, any structure he destroys, it's going to be hard to reconstruct that. And we're kind of look at this spread of Vikings.
Yeah. Well, they are really well spread, so you can't just like bungle them all and kill them or something.
Yeah.
And when he does eventually attack in, they can do a lot of damage.
We have infested Terrans down here on the ground. Now I don't know how much Fester energy he has either. That's something else you want to keep in mind.
Yeah.
That's a resource that I don't think can replenish at the same rate. He's going to try to come in now.
Oh my God.
Bailey's coming in. Oh.
So much damage here.
The Buggles are so sick.
The Queen's coming in and casting so many spells here.
Oh my God, he broke it.
Wow.
I think Rogue just won the game with that move.
I think you're right.
He actually orchestrated that so perfectly.
And so I also feel like we are really learning that anti-armor missile is not, well, we already knew it wasn't as strong as it once was, but maybe not even really useful in mass late game. Obviously, having a couple is always useful to get rid of the armor, but the damage output of it not seeming to have that much effect against the way that Rogue is playing right now.
So it looks like Rogue should just have the closing moves here. He still has enough resources. This whole army could get nuked, and he could remake.
Well, that's how Maru can still win the game, I guess.
Yeah.
I like this, though. Look at that. He goes for a nuke, and then he goes up and tries to get those snipes off. That Ling will eventually kill all these buildings.
So he's making a lot more Banelings. He just wants to come in here and pounce once more, and that'll be game. By the way, Rogue is crazy.
Yeah, he's so good.
Maru has played so well, and Rogue just, you know, he was the person who could actually go all the way from A to Z.
Yeah.
Probably the only player in the whole world that could pull this off. Against someone like Maru, someone who actually had such a defensive spread, was just trying to outlast Zerg. And a lot of this game, guys, it goes down to Zerg taking that bottom left base. That was unorthodox.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, and don't forget, it was a different play from Maru. Like the fact that he was really trying to push with tanks early on a map where it didn't really, it doesn't seem that strong, and then, you know, the Mutalisks were a good counter for a bit. It's been an excellent, awesome game. Now look at this army. Oh my God. That's an ST army right there.
Yeah. So he's just coming through now, and that should be it. We will see Maru tap out in a second here. And in this best of 5, it's going to be tied up 1-1. GG. Wow. Whoa.
What a game right there. What a game. That was fantastic. I love that. I love how long Maru stayed on bio units.
Yeah.
Like, he stayed on Marine Marauder for a long time. He was doing some good stuff. He was picking on patches and stuff. The fact that Rogue went into Corruptors. Normally what you see is the Ravens will just blow up the Corruptors and you can't really utilize them, but Rogue was using them in ways we don't normally see in this matchup. He was flying around with them like he had them against a Protoss player. He was like puking on buildings, he was killing turrets with them.
Well, it's funny because when you have that many, first of all, the air army has to back up in a lot of situations. And the Terran air army becomes a positional one. But then he just goes to these locations that are just hard for Terran to defend. They're too far out. He sprays down those buildings. Insta-kill. He's not trying to run in a bunch of Lings and Banes and Ultras, you know, and it makes it awkward if you have a planetary because you will just lose it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, even when he lifts up the other ones, if there's no anti-air there, goodbye.
Yeah.
Fight! Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
Already going to map 3, and we don't see proxy barracks play yet. That was one of the big questions we were talking about early on. Acid Plant is a map he does it a lot on, too.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
I guess they know each other so well that that if you were to proxy barracks, it's like you're going to make a gamble, but the odds are literally just not in your favor. And then why would you do that?
Yeah.
Both these guys want to win at GSL Codas. Maru is in the position where he's trying to contend for Rogue's spot. He's trying to keep this going. I mean, this is one of these things where if he did a proxy and it was shut down, if I'm Maru, that's going to haunt me.
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
I think it also...
There were so many other ways I could have played the game.
I think it shows there, well, we'll see as we go, because we'll at least get a game 4, and as you were saying at the beginning, probably a game 5. If there's just no double proxy barracks play, I think that points towards what actually happens in practice, is that Maru doesn't beat Rogue with it.
Artosis, here's what might happen, man. We might go to game 5, and it's a draw. We just go to game 6.
That would be
Okay,
Too
that's
epic.
That's how good they are.
Well, we'd have to stop GSL. We'd have to cancel on Saturday. Zess is like, but I think I can win GSL. No, you can't.
Yeah, we're like, well, we could change the rules here.
Yeah.
That,
We're
they were just
canceling
too
the rest,
good.
guys. You can come in. We're going to replay this series over and over. The Classic and ByuN, you can go home. They're like, can we just play? You can go home on Battle.net and play. Okay?
There's PC
No
cafes
one-
everywhere. You can
yeah.
play everywhere, but not here.
No one cares, okay?
So, things to note, in this series so far. Maru's done a pretty interesting quick tank push. He hides the tanks in the medevac and does sort of an ambush. He tries to ambush a position. In game 1, it worked out, and Rogue was completely knocked out of the game. But it was a good position to do it on. It didn't seem like it would make sense to do it on game 2. And that being said, I think Maru did it probably better than anybody in the whole world could have done it. But of course, it didn't beat Rogue.
Yeah.
And Rogue just kind of continues to grow. He's like the Blob.
Yeah.
He just kind of, and except in this case, the Blob wins at the end. Humanity is gone.
If you can't kill Rogue early game, you have to have some sort of. It almost feels like I don't want to say necessarily imbalance, but like for instance, the Seeker missiles. Well, Seeker missile, the anti-armor missile, right?
Right.
Before this nerf, it did. Every Zerg in the world was kind of like, how do you beat this, right? And Rogue was even saying in his interviews, because Maru was teasing that he knew how to beat it, and every Zerg's like, how? And he's like, no, really, I don't know. Right? Because he would be the guy. But
right.
It almost feels like you need that type of situation where it's like, well, no one knows how to beat this, and maybe you can beat Rogue in the late game. But if he gets there, if he has that big economy, if he has that creep spread, I mean, his decision-making, the way he moves his armies, the way he controls the late game, is just unrivaled.
What's funny about it is that, and this has always been true since for 20 years of StarCraft, right? Occasionally you'll get to a player who's Zerg who's so good that you can't get out of your base. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Where every time you leave, a swarm of Zerg units come down and crush you, and you're sitting there thinking, am I supposed to play single player? Like, what am I?
Yeah.
I know that this game is based off of me attacking you and you attacking me, but this guy has just taken over the entire map. I can't push in there. He's constantly leaning on every expansion I take. Usually the game will boil down to you just trying to take this one base outside of your base, and constantly armies are flooding down there and wiping it out and leaving. And what Rogue's doing in a lot of these games is he's just waiting. He's waiting for the Terran to take a base, and he runs in there and he smashes it, and then he just runs back. While he's getting more creep tumors, getting more overseers, spores, everything.
He's it's as scary as it comes. This is why he's the actual world champion. By the way, it seems like Maru is going to be going into a Hellbat push. Might feel that this is the best way to pick up a victory here, but losing 4 Hellions right before his armory finishes. Maybe he just felt like he could get some good damage there, but the 4 Hellion drop, that makes perfect sense then.
Okay, these drones,
Oh,
he
boy.
needs to keep as many alive as possible. The splitting here from Rogue is actually really good.
It is, but that
the
is
kills,
so much damage still.
especially this clump up here at the top. This is 9 drones killed. This is actually enough to take the wind out of the sails here for Rogue.
Oh
this
my
is a nightmare.
God.
It's not stopping, man. There's still.
Oh.
How is the damage being distributed perfectly evenly on each Hellion? Was each one at like 5 HP by that last volley? One of those things is supposed to die.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, 17 workers killed. Rogue is limping.
Yeah.
In this game.
That was really good. Like the fact that he ran into the side with those Hellions, and it was like, it felt like an overcommittal because it seemed like a Hellbat push, but it was just a decoy. And it works out so well that now you look at the situation for Maru, this is looking good. He's going into that type of mech play that we were talking about a little bit at the beginning of the show.
Oh my God. He's doing it again.
Yeah.
These are some big shoes to fill for these Hellions. Okay,
Yeah.
they know what their predecessors did.
Well, even if they do as well, it's not as well, right? Because it's later on. You never live up to your father
drones.
if he's a war hero. That's it.
There's less drones to kill. Wow.
There's less drones to kill.
Yeah. There's no way you can actually achieve that, you know?
Yeah. You got to do twice as well to be remembered that
That's
way.
right.
So, a Roach weren't on the way. This is looking so bad for Rogue right now.
Well, this is how you take down a late game god, is you just start breaking their bones early.
Yeah.
You just start putting in these crippling blows because, you know, Rogue is one of these players, if you leave him alone for too long, he can't be stopped. And Maru's got an excellent plan here, and so far it's working.
It's just that initial drop that got all those drones, and then the follow-up drop gets drones, and now you're flying around with a bunch of Hellions still, you're forcing him into a Roach Warren. It's going to be one of these pushes that comes out, and like Rogue's composition, I don't think it's going to be the right composition, right? Because from here, okay, he's going Infestation Pit. I think what we're going to see is Swarm Host rather than going into Hive right away, because he's in a really bad spot. Like, he needs to get some serious value coming out. But the Thor drops that are going to be coming up, if he even lives through what we're watching here, are going to be insanely hard to stop.
Yeah, this is actually too much damage. Okay, barely gets a transfuse off on there. And look at this, he immediately just moves up and starts hitting the drones.
Yeah, some Roaches out, so he can eventually kill these, but how many drones is he actually going to lose? Okay, that's going to be the drone loss at least.
Yeah, that could have gotten much worse.
All right, let's see if he goes into Storm Host, or maybe he wants to go directly into Viper at this point. Let's see, it was just a moment here. But yeah, when he flies across the map with these Thor drops, right, there's no Hydras to really gun down Medivacs. Maru can really dictate what's going on at this point. He's going up to 4 bases,
You
like,
notice
quicker than Rogue.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you guys noticed we've barely looked at Terran's base? Because why would we when all the action is happening where Rogue is trying to defend? And I think this is a nod to no more late game here for Maru. Maru's like, no, you know what? We tried that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not interested. And again, guys, I mean, this is what makes StarCraft so great, is that you don't have to play, you know, a certain type of game. You can choose to be aggressive, and they do have to respond to that.
Well, I think the type of late game that we'll see this game, it's like, you know, just the edge of late game. You know, it's like, Maru's like, okay, now I'm at 200 supply, we're going to end it right now. You know?
Yeah.
Rogue's like, no, I need 2 Spires getting upgrades.
Okay, so Thor drops are coming in here. Again, it's just Rogue scrambling. He's trying to put out fires.
Yes, indeed. The Thor drops, he's not even really committing too heavily, but he's making a lot of siege tanks. So this is, it seems like Maru's going for exactly that push that I was talking about earlier, where I felt like this would be the best way for Maru to end up winning this series. And the thing is, he did so much damage early game. Like, he's going to kill Rogue with this push. If Rogue does not die to this push, I'm like the most impressed.
Well, I think this is also why he's being really conservative with the Thors now. He doesn't want to lose a Thor or a Medivac. That's how you come back into this game. So he's carting these around right over our beautiful GSL logo.
Look at that.
It's great branding for our show right here.
Global StarCraft 2 League, guys.
And, oh, we got another one over here. See, just in case you forgot. In case you had dementia, you're like, what did I say? Well, I said Global StarCraft 2 League right there. So, he's going to try to push up here. And Maru gracefully leaves. And this is all leading up to a climactic moment. Their supplies are basically even, but Maru has actually expanded at a pretty scary rate. In fact, Rogue's sort of supposed to have another base right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could. I think the Thor drops and everything else happening has stopped that. And this all really goes back to those 17 drones killed right away.
He is a little bit behind where he should be. I think he's recovered as well as you really can, because he's going to have 2-2 maxed out and Vipers, which is, this is what you normally see. Like, this is the fight that I was talking about when you go for mech, is generally you hit this against Vipers and you see if you can kill them. And it comes down so much to Viper play. But Rogue is trying to get a little bit on the offensive. He's trying to buy himself a little bit of time here. Doesn't even have all of his upgrades yet. Look at that. The Hydral is not upgraded. Oh, man. Very tough stuff.
So Zerg's out on the map, hoping that Terran is afraid of a Zerg counterattack, which would slow down the push. And I think it's really smart. The thing is, in positions like this, every time Zerg runs in, they just get beaten down with tank shots. That was so much damage there.
Yeah, and man, he utilizes a lot of Viper energy there on something he doesn't need to. Like, I understand the Vikings are there, and it's good to throw Parasitic Bomb on them, but the Vikings are just not super important right now. He needs to recharge those Vipers immediately, because Blinding Cloud is going to be the only chance to break this push.
Okay, he's right outside the space, and the expansion that Rogue's taking right now, I don't think that's going to last at all.
No.
But I feel like those tanks should be in range. I guess the angle's kind of odd, but I guess if he just gets vision of that.
I don't think this game's going to last all tasteless.
I don't think
Unless
so.
Rogue has a miracle here, he should be killed. Look at those siege tanks. Oh my god.
I think you're right. This should be the killing blow. Again, Maru just was such a brilliant opener. Hold on, here comes Rogue's force is coming down. Some blinding clouds landing over here. Has he chipped off enough?
Some pretty good blinding clouds, but there's so many siege tanks in the back.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have other tech to fight with here. He just has to make Roaches, Hydras, and Vipers. And the pressure of Maru is what has really made him go into this unit composition. So, I mean, very well played by Maru.
Even keeping these Thors in a good position where they're going to be soaking up a lot of the damage.
Yeah, he's kind of zoning back anything in the air like Vipers.
You can see he's trying to get it. Well, there's one Ravager in here, nothing else. Yeah, that's going to be it. And now he's scanning this other new base where there was, he lets that finish. He's taking this out now. It's going to be Rogue on. Well, hold on a second. Rogue took the upper right. I didn't notice that. Maybe you mentioned that.
He just took it. No, I didn't mention it. I
okay.
just saw it too.
But yeah, he's got the upper right. But Maru's already on 5 bases.
Yeah, this is kind of the last hurrah of Rogue right here.
He just shuffles these back a little bit further. Now, getting these Ravagers was a smart move against the tanks, but it's a bit late.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, the cost and efficiencies here for Rogue are pretty severe. I guess he will end up clearing it all. It's impressive to me that he has held on and cleared all that. The fact that he lost that many drones early on and has gotten the game into this position, because just coming in my imagination was that if Maru wins this series, it's with exactly a push like this, and it wasn't even based off of killing 16, 17 drones, then 9 drones, right?
Right.
And so he did both those, did this push, and Rogue is like kind of holding on still.
Okay, what am I seeing now? He's actually just going to push all the way over here?
He's got 3-3.
Where's Maru's army?
Well, he died on the other side of the map.
Yeah, nothing else left over here.
Yeah, not too much. But Maru has a lot of bases. He has a lot of factories. He's definitely not dead.
No, he's definitely not dead. I'm just surprised that Rogue is still in this game. This is kind of great. And look at the supply is he's actually outgrowing Maru.
Yeah, but the value of the units it's like all Rogue is on like Roach Ravager for the most part. So supply-wise, Ravagers are okay, but a lot of this supply is Roaches. So I still definitely give Maru the edge here. But the fact that this is a game right now, I find so impressive.
Well, it's a testament to the force that is Rogue. I mean, even Maru's probably scouting here going, oh my god, he's taking that again? I thought this game was supposed to be over. What is happening here? By the way, he's telling us a lot bigger thread with those upgrades.
Yeah. Some Banshee speed on the way, 3 Banshees being made. That's a really great upgrade for this kind of weird game. I mean, it's something Maru normally always does, but this is a Roach Ravager army. You're flying around with 5, 6 speed Banshees at this point.
Everything dies.
Jeez.
You can go in there and chip out a hatchery if you want.
Oh yeah, you can kill their whole army if you want. Do whatever you want with it.
Choose your adventure and win the game.
Greater Spire is on the way. He's adding some Hydras too, so that'll be some anti-Banshee. Maru's army though, the size of Maru right now is huge. Look how many bases he has. He has 6 bases. Like 6 mining bases.
There's actually no other base he could realistically take for a long time. I mean, maybe in theory the bottom left, but generally speaking, I mean, Terran's got it maxed out on position here. But Maru's trying to get this killing blow in here. He wants to finish this game.
All right, gonna be able to push this one down instantly. Rogue going for a counter. Yeah, I really like that Rogue is just realizing, okay, I can just never fight him for real. So he's making all of these other moves that might give him some sort of chance, right? He's like, okay, I lose a base, but you lose a base. Still behind, but still fighting.
Okay, Maru's actually trying to pick a fight up here. Is Rogue actually going to go for this?
See the greatest Biles ever. Hey, not bad for Biles, actually. And those are great blinding clouds.
Oh, even hitting some of the Banshees with the Biles.
Yeah.
But he'll have to turn around. These Banshees are just too much of a threat. It's too much damage coming out here. So he's incorporating some more Hydralisks in here.
Yeah, he doesn't have very good detection here at all. Banshee's going to go to town on this economy for a moment. As detection comes up, I guess he can push it out. Look at this, more SCVs than drones right now. Still, Rogue in such a hard position, he's forced to continually make Hydras along with this as well.
And what he's doing is he's running in here and he's just trying to take these tanks out. You can see he didn't quite have the bios split correctly because both bios, well, the whole set of bios hit both tanks, and it still didn't kill them.
Those bios
crazy.
were sick.
That was so good. Man.
You know, I feel and sound like a Rogue fanboy to keep saying this because Maru's winning this game and probably will end up killing Rogue eventually. But what Rogue is doing here is so immensely impressive.
The fact that he's still in this game,
Yeah.
he's hanging on like this is crazy to me.
He's using like units that don't work well here.
A Terran who's basically bigger and has better units that keeps crashing in there and keeps expanding out. It's like, my God, man.
Yeah, it's insane what we're watching here. He's like fighting siege tanks with roaches over and over and over and over.
Okay. Well, you know, one thing that's on Rogue's side is probably time here, you know. It's much easier for Zerg to keep stretching out and taking the map than it is for Terran.
Yeah.
And the way this game's gone, I don't know. I can't imagine Terran losing this, but then I can't. If I had seen that initial push coming through here and the fact that both of those bases were destroyed, I just could not imagine a game where we would have been already back to this point, right?
I think that the only chance for an actual victory here from Rogue is a sharp switch into some Broodlords and pushing through.
Yeah, I like that.
That is the absolute only way to actually win, in my opinion, right? The thing is, Maru pretty much knows that's the only way that he'll ever actually die. And look at the Viking count. Like, with that many Vikings, you can't do that sharp switch. So Rogue is just kind of walking around the map. You know, he's like, okay, well, I'll do what I can and see if any situation opens itself up. But it seems like Maru is incapable of making a big enough mistake.
Okay, he's going to crash into him once again. A lot of tanks in the back here, really abusing that ground army there of Rogue. That was a lot of losses he suffered. He's already remaking 17 Roaches, getting more Ravagers.
Corvid Reactor coming up once again. I wonder, I don't think we'll really see any, but he's getting himself ready for every eventuality. Okay, throwing down some parasitic bombs on the Vikings. I actually really like that at this point. Ooh, those Banshees are scary too, but like, if he can somehow get Maru into a mostly anti-ground army instead of this many Vikings, maybe there's a shot.
Oh man, this is going to be a rough one here for Rogue. He's going to try to come through. The spread of tanks right now, especially with these Banshees on top, so much damage. And you know, even if you take out all these tanks, which Rogue cannot, it's going to be the Banshees that clean it up. GG.
Crazy game again. I mean, great play by Maru. That early Hellion run by, well, it wasn't run by, it was a run in at the third and then the drop in the main. From there, he dictated this game so heavily. But Rogue was, he was Bruce Leeing it up, man. He was water. He was working what he had and doing what he could and made the game so much closer. Almost every Zerg in the world would just die to that first push.
Yeah.
After that much damage, no, I don't think any other Zerg would even live.
Well, the theme is constant here. Rogue has got the scariest late game that there is, and he's able to survive almost anything. Maru wins when he figures out how to hinder Rogue early on, how to slow him down, how to curb that growth rate.
Yeah.
He did it in game 1 with a great push. He did it in game 3 with this great drop that came in there and slowed him down. Let's see what he tries to do here in game 4. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I want something more, no more barricades, a moment that we share, keep to ourselves. I miss all the times where it used to be. I want something more of you from me.
...2018 GSL Season 2 Codes Overgrowth. 2018 GSL Season 2 Code S Overgrowth.
아프리카 TV에는 당신이 아는 것보다 다양한 인정이 살고 있죠. 말 많은 인정, 발 빠른 인정, 잘 먹는 인정, 영리한 인정, 친절한 인정까지. 모든 게 컨텐츠가 되고 누구나 주인공이 되는 세상. 알고 보면 멋진 세상.
Are you free? Africa TV.
(2018) GSL Season 2 Code S Overgrowth.
Oh, the break wasn't long enough. I had more food to eat still. I burnt too many calories casting those last 3 games.
Yeah, this series has been out of control. It's been so good. These two are just the best players. We're watching the best players play against each other. It's GSL Code S. I don't know, man. I'm just like
Life is good. Life is good, everybody. Right now, Maru's up in a 2-1 lead. The theme is clear.
The funny thing is, he's in a 2-1 lead. Maru's in a 2-1 lead. But I'm sitting here in my post-Zergle bliss right now. After that loss from Rogue, I'm like, damn, he's good.
I know.
Wow.
I'm like somehow more impressed with Rogue that game looked like that.
Yeah.
Again, if Rogue can't be stopped, the game goes on for too long. There's nothing you can do. Maru, let's see what he does now. He needs one more win and he'll take this.
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
Maru, some of the coolest timing attacks to dismantle Rogue.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like when you have these two types of players and their teammates, I would imagine Rogue is supposed to have the advantage, right? It's supposed to be harder.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
For Maru to break him.
You would think. That's what I thought coming in. But Maru does lead 2-1. You know, the results are the ultimate measuring stick, right? No matter how good we think anyone is, like that's been the story of the season with Deer. Every game is like, Deer doesn't look too good, and here he is in the round of 8 having won one of the hardest groups. So it's like, well, really, literally, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, Rogue looks so good, and we keep talking about how good he looked in that game that he lost. Maru picked up the W. Here he is. Match point for the rest of the match. Maybe he just wins another GSL now. He's the one that must look the best.
And what's funny about it is that the last GSL was pretty much the only thing that Rogue didn't win.
Pretty much.
So
it's been very few tournaments.
This whole tournament has been a path to redemption here for Rogue. Rogue wants to get that last little unlockable as far as StarCraft 2 championships goes.
That's true.
He's got all the other portraits already unlocked based off of his achievements as a player.
Him and SOS are in that same category, actually.
Yeah.
You think about it, they're both like IEM World Champions, BlizzCon World Champions, but neither of them have a GSL title yet. Isn't that funny? That's weird.
Must be something about the tournament. The way maybe people have more time to prepare. Maybe both Rogue and Maru Rogue and SOS are players built of more stamina, where they might be able to win more games overall and marathon through much bigger tournaments. But if you have just one major match, you know how much prep time that is to get ready?
It's a lot.
For one best of 5, how much you could try to break down every possible thing your opponent can do.
Well, normally we talk about how that's where SOS strives, but I guess not. And as far as Rogue goes, like, we haven't seen him take it down. You know, that I feel like he really could have won that season where he barely lost to Sue in the round of 8. Remember that one? The one circling that won Sue, got Sue into second place, basically.
One Ling that blocked out, I think, 3 or 4 Bailings for, it was like 2 seconds, but I mean, long enough where, no, that's all you need.
One of the craziest, I'll never forget that moment. That's like, just wow. Anyways, we're on Eastwatch. It's definitely a very big map. I would say that this map is slightly Maru favored. I wonder if he's going to go for a mech play here again, because Marine tank pushes can be very, very, very strong here.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. If he goes for a bio opener, well, obviously this isn't a bio opener. He's going Hellion and some Starport units, but you can still go bio behind this. But basically, if he does go into bio play, generally from Zerg, you don't really see Hydras here. It's more likely to see Mutalisk play from Rogue. Yeah, the map just plays very different because of all these like high walls and like the small choke points and all that. It's hard to hold that 4th base of Zerg. Scouts that cloak.
Let's see if he keeps it. Sometimes we see this Overlord killed and then, the Terran, there it is. He cancels it. Okay, so he forks out.
And he gets a Liberator instead.
And, it's not unpredictable at all. I mean, it's not like, wow, Rogue's totally been duped. He's not going to know.
Yeah.
But it's not bad because it makes Rogue, it forces him to try to protect against this, right? You have to be, I mean, if you just don't get ready for Cloak Banshees after you see that and Banshees fly in there, it's like, okay, well,
yeah.
Now why did you scout then?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Just play blind.
When I saw the cloak, that's when I knew there wouldn't be any.
Exactly. That's not really how it works. But then, you go into Liberators, and what he's trying to do is make Rogue spend that extra 5–10% of his money protected against something that's not coming. And again, this is how Maru, this is the only way to really take down Rogue, and Maru knows it, is he's got to stretch Rogue out as much as possible, or make Rogue stretch out, I really should say, as much as possible. Where, Rogue has to be hyper vigilant, right? He's got to be ready for everything. He knows that there's some kind of trap, there's some ambush coming. And as long as he can survive that ambush, as long as he can defend it correctly, he should be bigger, faster, stronger in the late game.
He's been doing a good job with that so far. I did like how you said it, though. He needs to stretch Rogue out as far as he can. Like, wow, we could get a sick nickname for Maru. Maru, the evil masseuse of Terran.
Oh. Just barely gets all the drones out. And he's going to have to just slide over here. Resets up immediately.
Saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Gets those queens in there immediately as well and forces it back.
Liberator's going to stay alive.
I'm just going to patrol there for a moment. And Baneling speed on the way, as well as 1-1. Now, I wonder what tech we're going to see here out of Rogue, because I was talking some big game about him not going Hydra's Den, more likely to go Mutas. Will he do that here? Making quite a few Lings at the moment. Siege Tanks, of course, coming out for Maru. Again, the bio Siege Tank push is very, very strong here. Another hatchery on the way, a macro hatchery, in fact.
That's right, he wants to power up.
I like that.
Well,
just the fact that he's staying on Ling Bane, you need a lot of larva for that.
Well, also, I think he's saying, okay, you know, really what you know, has happened is Rogue has been expanding out, and occasionally Maru just comes in there and starts to beat up on Rogue. So Rogue's good. You've got to slow play this one. And here we go with our initial push out. Now we have tanks being made again.
Yep. And he definitely will be utilizing those tanks for the push that's coming up now.
The fact that this is going to be the third time out of 4 games that we've casted where Maru's done this, you have to imagine that every time that Rogue faces off against this, Rogue has learned something, right? He's adapted somehow. And so I guess the question is, has he managed to adjust enough to punish Maru for the repetition in his strategies?
Well, this game, it is a little bit slower than before. Let's not forget as well, right? He opened up with a little bit of Hellions and a Viking and stuff, took that third base. So he's going to have that Spire up around before the push actually comes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Does he put a bunch of money into the Mutalisks right away? I think he will.
Because the thing is, the idea is still there, right? They're the tanks hiding inside the medevacs that don't, you know, you almost always assume those are going to be Marines. And it comes at a different time, in a different place. Now, he's still getting the 10 Mutalisks.
Wow.
Well, that was not good.
That Spore. Okay, here comes the push now. Does he put the tanks right there? That's amazing.
That is beautiful.
Yep. Okay, so the Mutalisks actually can deal with this.
Yeah, Rogue has the right units coming out.
You need the Mutas to come in, so you have to run back and forth a little bit so he doesn't kill too much. You might get that hatchery, but Rogue has to deal with this push perfectly.
Well, he's attacking without the Mutas being there, so the Banelings got shortened out.
Yeah, the Mutas are out now, though, so there's definitely a possibility. If you can get enough Lings and Banes underneath this, your Mutas can go in and kill everything at that point. Okay, here we go. The Mutas come in to get the tanks. Well, they try to get the tanks.
Try to unload out here.
Jeez Louise, that one tank. Okay, he gets it finally.
Now, the medevacs might be able to get away. They're still trying to clean up these Marines, which means Maru's still going to have a bit of muscle that he can push out with on the map.
I think that this was a strong hold overall.
Well, I think the slow play here from Rogue and tanking up and basically preempting options for Terran right when we get into, I guess, what we call mid-game here. Even though TVZ can actually go on for much longer than this. This is sort of where you are in the middle of your tech and, you know, you've got enough of the map that you're sort of active economically.
There's no 2-2 on the way for Rogue, and he's made a lot of Lings and Banes at this point. It seems like he might go for an attack, but I don't know that he can get anything done with it. So that makes me a bit nervous on how late he's starting that 2-2. He, like, put so much money into units. So might get a little bit behind as far as the upgrades go, but he is going up into that hive at least. What are those Reapers doing?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of confused about the story of those Reapers.
Could have been a mistake.
Maybe it's possible when you're going this fast.
You know, if he's like macroing with all his buildings on one hotkey, maybe he didn't tab correctly, and the Reaper hotkey definitely could be the same as the Thor hotkey, something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just like kind of stretching it here, but I'm like, why do you have those 2 Reapers? You're not ByuN.
So he's going to come in here and try to take out anything that's going to be free. And this is where the role reversal happens. Is once you shut down a big Terran push like that, it's Zerg getting control of the map. And this is where Rogue is going to start getting scary. The creep is continuing to spread out in all directions. He's getting Burrow to punish any real Terran ambitions if he steps into the wrong place at the wrong time. The Mutas can shut down drops, so Maru's respecting that and staying back and playing defensively. And it looks like he wants to try to come out here with a big push, and he has to keep most of this army together. And you know what? This could be a real threat.
Yeah. Well, they're both basically maxed, and he's got sick anti-muta here, and he's up 2 upgrades. That's a recipe for disaster for Rogue. So he's actually flying around harassing with the mutas. He needs Maru to turn around and stay at home a little bit longer. He really does. Okay, I mean, this is slowing Maru a little bit, but Maru continues to push with the bulk of his army at least.
Okay, he's now out in the middle here. He's denying this creep. I mean, the creep has actually gotten frighteningly close to the Terran base. Rogue is so on top of this, and I think Rogue might be setting up for a counterattack. But notice this, Maru keeps pulling back.
Well, look at the spread for Rogue here. He actually had his units in 3 areas. He was ready for a big flank. But even with that big flank, he needs to buy a little bit more time for these upgrades. Okay, Carapace finishing for his mutas. The 2-2 is going to be finishing pretty quickly here. That +2 Carapace is the most important part of it. big moments here. Like, he has done a good job slowing Maru.
Oh, wow.
Careful,
Okay,
careful.
spots that. There was a scan over there, and he still wasn't reacting right away. But Rogue is continuing to grow. It should be pointed out that this map is huge.
Yeah.
There are tons of bases that you can take, and even after you've taken all those ones, even the ones that are not easy to take, there are ones that are even further out than that. You know,
Someone described this recently on the Pylon show as like almost needlessly large with too many. It's like, why are those expansions at the bottom and top there? Like, no one ever even ends up taking all the bases on this map. It's just crazy.
Well, it's also interesting because then what does late game look like with Maru and Rogue on here? I mean, Rogue's got the best late game. I mean, as long as Rogue has bases to take, there's always hope for him.
Look, they've done tests, right? Like, the human mind can hold like 7 numbers in its head at once. How many bases can it hold? Like, how many bases can you take here? Like, eventually you're going to forget, oh yeah, there was another base here. Isn't
That's
that
right.
crazy?
Nothing's
Like,
mining there. Okay, Rogue's going to try to come in. A big attack. Can Maru split this up correctly?
that is so many Banelings. He's actually running into Thor's, Siege Tanks, Marauders.
He might as well hit the
Turns
Banelings
around.
on destructible rocks. He's got so
God,
many.
he may as well just detonate them all on nothing.
And now he's second into Ultras. Maru so far pretty on top of just denying any little attacks over here. But this is kind of frustrating for Maru here. I mean, Rogue has so much of the map. It's any moment that Maru pulls out, Rogue's already got an answer. In fact, we already see a counterattack coming here at the very bottom where these depots are. And I think they actually might be able to get to the main here. Oh, in fact, that didn't even wall in entirely, so there you go.
Yeah. All right, well, this is a pretty darn good counterattack, and it looks like another group of units actually rolling down. Yeah, Baneling's most of it. Siege Tank's sitting there. By the way, there's 4 factories with add-ons here. So he's making a lot of Siege Tanks at the moment to help out.
That's right. These mutas coming through and just continuing to do lots of damage. He's burrowing here. This is, and actually that, oh my God.
I love
Denied
that.
the, the upgrade there. And like you were saying, if he's making this many factory units, this is actually huge. Banes are just spilling through. Anything he can get, he'll take.
Ooh, he almost got that planetary, just barely not.
9 SCB kills.
That's significant, but he's still got 52, so I'd say the game is not over as of yet, but Rogue is getting so gigantic. Look at how many bases he's taken during this.
Yeah, well, look at the minerals and the gas he's banking. That's not going to go anytime soon.
No.
He's taking that bottom right base.
Yeah. Now, look at this. Double armory being made here once again, as he did lose some of those upgrades, but he's got so many factories. He's making so many siege tanks in this late game to go with his bio. I almost feel like I'm watching StarCraft 1 right now.
Yeah, this looks like a StarCraft 1 PvT or something here.
It's just like adding in this many siege tanks to try to deal with the Ling Bane Ultra. You know, it definitely, the damage output of those siege tanks will make it very difficult for this unit composition to work. It's just like if you do get into a Broodlord switch eventually, that's going to be hard to beat with the siege tank.
I'm getting a little bit worried here. I feel like Rogue's done almost too much damage here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Terran gets to catch up.
Maybe not.
I mean, he's targeting things down nicely. Like, you even see some of these trades aren't that cost efficient for Rogue, but do you really care when you're as loaded as Rogue is right now? When you have this much money?
True, true.
If Rogue drops one of his Ultralists into the leaves, will he actually go back and try to find it? You know? Or will he just say that's merely one Ultralist, can I have the entire map?
It's one of many.
It's one of many.
It matters not.
That is not an important thing to me.
Right now, Rogue he's got so much of the map that he thinks that Ultralisks hatch in pairs of 2.
That's right. Yeah, he's confused.
He's like out of touch with actually how the Zerg units are created and how much they cost.
He doesn't even know how much milk costs right now. He's so out of touch. He's just so rich.
Still hurting that economy of Maru. Rogue is just so big right now.
I think this actually is Rogue really reasserting himself this time around. Now, there's only 32 workers, and Maru's still almost maxed out. So there's a push that'll eventually have to happen here. But I just feel like the floor is going to open up for Maru, and his army is going to disappear.
Well, this is so Baneling focused. How many siege tanks are there actually? Because he's been producing a lot, but a lot have been picked off as well.
Yeah, especially by the Mutalisks that were over that production area. I think we're only seeing 2 over there on the left.
I do wonder, because, right, if you get like 10 siege tanks, suddenly this army is not so scary. Those mutas still somehow doing work as well. Still getting upgrades for them also. Oh, look at that, he just restarted +2 attack for his siege tanks there. That's too bad.
Not going to leave this game until that upgrade finishes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Now, even the angling not being that great here for Rogue, it's still going to be Maru whose supply is plummeted. The mutas are still doing damage. Wow. Man, oh man.
These mutalists, and they showed it a little bit earlier, that only 2 mutas had died. Those things have been so active this game, it's insane. Okay, it looks like he's actually just going to sack them at this point.
Yeah,
most of them.
He wants to get rid of those to get other cool stuff. So Maru's trying to push out here. He has to make this work. It's going to be tough. More Ultras, Links, and Veins are coming here for Rogue, and we're seeing that happen right now. I just don't even know if this is a matter of control anymore here.
Rogue is such a beast. It is so insane to me how strong he is in the late game.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, there were like moments where Maru could have gotten something done maybe, but Rogue just like keeps him busy just long enough that he can get into this. His creep spread gets that much further out. He makes that many more Lings and Veins. He gets into his Ultra's attack, and now he's everywhere at once. Maru's still playing well, though. He's had some very efficient trades. It's just, there's so much Zerg.
GG. Rogue, too much. Too much. Maru tried that timing attack. He had the tanks in that kind of middle area outside the main plateau, and then he had his Marines drop there, but Rogue had already preempted it. He had Mutalisks ready. He shut it down, and from there, Maru was in timeout for most of that game. He didn't get to leave his base. He didn't get to go and do any damage to any hatcheries. Rogue took so many bases, I lost count. Had just too much and overwhelmed him, and you can see Rogue is just playing a cautious man's game.
Well, yeah, I guess it's working out at this point. It's tied up. It's 2-2. Our final map going to be Lost and Found. Tasteless. This series has really made me find myself, I have to say.
This has been so sick.
This is such a good series. It's insane.
These games have been so good.
I guess this is what it looks like when the best 2 StarCraft 2 players play the best match you could really ask for.
I guess that's one way to sum it up, Artosis. We're going to the last game. Lost and Found, Maru versus Rogue. The winner goes on to the Final Four of the GSL Code S.
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
Hottest player on Earth right now. Game 5 against his teammate.
We've had no proxies still.
Yeah.
Just got to point that out.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
Of course, the hottest player of the last year. World champion, Katowice champion, Super Tournament champion, I Am Shanghai champion. So many big wins for him, but the GSL still eludes him.
So I guess, at least for what we've seen with these two guys, the theme of this best of 5 is really, can Maru stop Rogue before Rogue can no longer be stopped? Because if you get Rogue to a certain point, he is just too good at capitalizing on everything on the map, every tool that Zerg has, every weakness of his opponent.
It's like his understanding of the game is so strong. He just really knows what he's doing. He works with what he has. He's not taking bad engages unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah, unless he realizes that he's so ahead that he can actually take a really bad engage,
which is
kill
actually,
because he's like, well, this is actually still going to hurt you more in the long run.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest things to do.
I'm rich and out of touch, is what he's saying.
Yeah, but yeah, like that is something where people throw a lot of times. They're like, well, I'm way far ahead, I can do this, and then eventually they lose. Like, no.
Yeah.
But Rogue is like, okay, well, I can trade slightly inefficiently here, because tempo-wise, I'm just going to kill you. Like, I'm going to remax and keep on hitting, and man, oh man, last Zerg left. Fittingly so.
Here comes that first Reaper in here for the scout. See if he gets any kills or any kind of little mini upsets happen with the engages there.
Oh, I think we're seeing a 2-on-1 again. I wonder if there's a little siege tank push spot.
Yeah, in fact, it looks like Shine's looking for it now.
Yeah.
Perhaps over there.
Sure.
Zerg doesn't have a third base yet, but we know that's going to happen.
That could be
But
strong.
yeah, I think you put the tanks right there. Now, I mean, Rogue has to know, after seeing this, that he's seen what works for Maru and what doesn't.
Yeah. He's getting very fast Overlord speed this game. So that's kind of interesting. We did see him mine a bunch of gas early on. You don't normally see fast Overlord speed right now in this
maybe
matchup,
he wants
especially.
to try to fly in later and try to spot the tanks before they come out.
You're probably right. Like, but this is way slowing down his next base. Like, you know, the third base. Okay, there goes down the third. I wonder, like, he obviously is going to get in here and scout right away. He's going to see that it's a, well, he doesn't see anything yet. But I think with the amount of Marines you see, you're kind of like, I think this is a 2-on-1.
But I mean, at this point in time, do you ever? I mean, it could start out as a 2-on-1 and then transition into this other thing. I mean,
yeah.
But I think he wants you to confirm that he knows what's coming at him. Because if he can maybe stop the position before Maru gets it, then he's lasted long enough. He has enough tools to then dismantle whatever else Maru's going to try to do.
Here's some questions. Does he know where the position is?
I think he has.
How do you dismantle the position as well? Like, are you just trying to
try to get over? Maybe you want to have just enough lings, because part of this push, right?
Okay.
So it's when it's not the first two medevacs. That's what makes it look normal. That's what masks the attack. It's the second two medevacs. You always have the tanks loaded in there, because you want to kind of pop out and just set up.
Yeah.
And if you have enough lings and stuff on the ground, then they can't unload. It's that same idea. Maybe that's what you want to do.
By the way, the third hatchery being quite a bit later is giving him less larva for lings and less queen production. His evolution chamber also slightly slower than you normally see against the 2-on-1. I think that the build he was doing originally, like that speed, I think he was more afraid of Hellion play or Banshee play or Hellbat play, that type of play. I think that's why he went for this, not to fight against a 2-on-1, because it seems to me that this is much less efficient against 2-on-1 than the build that he used the other games against it.
Okay, there's that Overlord Scout.
And yeah, that is a tech lab being made, but I guess it's not enough information.
Yeah, but he can probably come back in there later on. I don't think Terran's going to have enough Marines to make sure those Overlords don't get there. And if you notice already, he's making sure that these medevacs never unload.
Yeah. This is the type of move we were talking about on Backwater, actually, where you chase the medevacs down, and it seems like there's no great unload positions right now. Okay, he goes right over the ledge. That's basically how you do it to get your Marines back out. But you push them back further enough, right, that when they come back down, they have to walk down. It takes time. Then they have to scan again to get the new tumors that are where they just cleared.
Okay, Maru's back on the ground. Now keep in mind, in game one, when he won with that push, he didn't stim in too much. He didn't lose too much medevac energy. But you can see Rogue's being really aggressive out here.
Ooh.
Anytime, okay, you know, that taking out, even if it's 4 Marines, that can add up, man.
Totally.
You're going to win with this push. I'm pretty married to this. I mean, everything's looking like we're going to go in that direction in this game.
Yeah, he's making the siege tanks.
Yeah.
Everything looks like those siege tank pushes he was doing before.
Now, you know, if Maru loses the series, do we chalk this up to you were not dynamic enough strategically? Like, I'm glad that you won with this, but you probably had to come up with something else. Or is he saying, look, man, this is the only way I know how to beat him?
So far, his 2 wins were a very cool Hellion draw, right, into that mech play. And then also the 2-on-1, like, super abusive position on Catalyst. And then he's lost the other games that just went long. I don't know. Let's see what he gets done with it. The siege tanks are here. He's setting up right in that position you said.
That same strategy. Now notice to the right side of our screen here, there's going to be a counterattack that's going to come in. That could get these tanks here from behind.
Yeah, this is a lot of lings coming in right now. He has to target those mains. The split by Rogue, he is going to slaughter this attack. Oh, that was a sick tank shot, though.
Can he keep doing this then? There's only 2 banelings remaining.
And the creep is way back now.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. It's going into Hydro's dead now. First time we've seen it against Bioplay.
Okay, he's beginning to push in here. Again, that last tank shot that we saw. Okay, now there's going to be less transfusions for later on. Some of those queens trying to target down the medevacs.
Oh, good transfusions. Wow,
Yeah.
he keeps all those queens live, but he's getting very low on that energy at
Yeah,
this
he
point.
needs to get more medevacs over here. There they are now.
Oh my God, that's a lot of Marines.
No, this is a tug of war we're seeing.
Baneling speed is done, but where are the Banelings?
By the way, the hatchery is super low. I think 25% HP. And I think he might have done it.
Oh
I think he might have just barely had enough.
Oh, I think you're right. I think Maru's gonna do it.
Oh my God, he gets the base, and I think this should be the beginning of the end. All the drones go down. 24 of them.
Wow. Wow.
GG.
With dots. GG, dot, 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 dot. Oh my God.
So crazy. You know, it's funny. I thought when the tanks were killed off, for sure it ends. But if you look at it, he did get the right tank shots on the Banelings.
Yeah.
Then he did the exact correct move. He kept hitting those. Oh wow, this is this is
yeah, no, he got that sick volley.
He bled out all the mana on the queens, all the energy.
Kept that creep back so much too.
And so when the next follow-up with the Marines came, there was nothing that they could transfuse. There was nothing to help.
God, those two are so good.
Crazy. Crazy.
I just can't get over how good both those players are. That's crazy. If one of those two doesn't win BlizzCon, I don't know what's what.
So it looks like Maru may very well end up winning this season of the GSL, but we've had so many upsets.
Hold the phone. We got other crazy matches coming. I think if Rogue wins there, he is such a favorite. And Maru, I think you can probably say he's a favorite. He's so good. But our next match coming up is frightening good players, but we'll talk about that after this interview.
다시 한번 막았습니다. 자, 오늘 결승 같은 8강의 승자, 첫 번째 4강 진출자.
Maru's done it again. He's stopped Rogue again. You go to the semifinals. Congratulations. He says thank you.
와, 오늘 정말 8강인데 엄청난 경기가 나왔습니다. 먼저 오늘 이 8강전
So this is just the quarterfinals match, but it was incredible. How do you feel?
마음 비우고 왔고 제가 병렬이 형을 워낙
Before the studio, I
잘한다고
tried to empty my mind.
편하게 했는데 이겨서
I do think Rogue is one of the very best Zergs ever.
기분은 좋지 않아요.
네,
The best, Maru. Thank you very much.
I'm just very happy that I advanced, but I also feel sorry to defeat my teammate.
정말 이 상대도 엄청난 경기력이 나왔었던 것 같아요. 상대의 경기를 어떻게 생각을 하셨어요?
What's your take on Rogue's performance tonight?
같은데 제가 빌드로 이긴 것 같아요.
I think in some ways he played better than me. I got lucky on my builds.
1세트와 5세트 참 이 장점인 빌드
That's your trademark, though. That's really your play style.
모습이었는데 5세트 빌드는 즉흥적인 거였나요?
The last match.
로스트 앤 파운드랑
you spontaneously decide to use that build?
준비 생각하고 왔는데 좀 잘 먹힌 것 같아요.
Catalyst and on Lost and Found.
빌드도 상대가 예상
I was
못한
going to go for that.
이런 타이밍이었다는 게 참 무서웠던 것 같아요. 항상 같이 생활을 하는 팀원인데 이거는 머릿속에서 오늘을
So even
위해서
though Rogue's your teammate, you guys live together in the same team house.
그런 건 아닌데
It's those builds that you hit for
형한테
them.
운영에 자신이 없어가지고
네.
생각을 좀 많이 해봤는데 이거 말고는 답이 없겠다 생각해서
I spent a lot of time thinking that he knows how I play really well. I just tried really hard to prepare. And I tried to have very specific builds that I knew would be able to defeat him.
완벽한 모습을 보여주시더라고요. 평상시에도 이런 방식의 이런 숨막히는
Seems like Rogue
운영들을
showed
많이
some
하시나요?
incredible play.
연습 도와줄 때좀 하는
Not just
편인데
Terrence. Yeah,
제가 거의
one
다
of the best
지거든요.
Terrence.
네.
근데
You
오늘
guys usually
다른
have games like
사람들이
that.
반감하게로 뽑길래 저도
네.
뽑아봤는데
네.
역시 너프된 건 안 뽑아야 되겠다.
I lose a lot to Rogue, to be honest.
네, 그렇군요. 이제 반가는 뽑으면 안 되겠다.
especially if I use
하셨는데
Ravens.
확실히 오늘 이 8강전
Doesn't
두
seem
분의
to work that well.
경기여서 그런지 눈호강하게 되는 경기였던 것 같습니다. 자, 이렇게 판짜기의
So
승리로
he's basically he's not likely to use Ravens as much now.
됐습니다. 이제 상대는 바로 다음 경기로 이어지는 김도우 선수 그리고
So you're advancing to the
변현우 선수가
semifinals.
기다리고 있는데요. 변현우 선수가 올라오고
And you're going to play one of the winners from the next match. It's going to be Classic versus ByuN. Who do you want to
테란보다
face?
토스가 나은 것 같아요.
그래요. 뭐 상대 전정 뭐 이런 거 다 필요 없고.
I'd rather face Protoss and
지금은
Terrence.
Whoa, that's interesting.
거기다 불곰 복구도
regardless of their
있었고
skill
현 메타에서
or their
제가 좀
record?
잘 맞는 것 같아서
네.
준비하면 충분히 이길 수 있을 거라 생각.
In the current meta,
그냥
I'm
도우
actually
형이
just
더
more comfortable facing off against the Protoss.
그래요. 오히려 김도우 선수가 낫다고 하시네요.
Personally, I just feel
그럼
much.
냉정하게 봤을 때 이
I would
뒷경기의
prefer to
승자도
face off
김도우가 될
against
것
Classic.
같나요?
제가 현우 형
You
빌드를
think Classic's
봤는데
going to advance?
아,
Well, I watched
잘
ByuN's builds.
모르겠더라고요.
네.
I'm not really sure about his builds. I don't know.
이기고 못하면 지겠죠.
네.
I guess maybe if
자,
he plays well, he
이병렬
can.
선수만 아니면 2연속 우승도
And he
가능할
says
것
if he doesn't
같다
play well, he won't
예상했는데 정말 베스트
It's a great
시나리오대로
analysis.
된 것 같습니다.
He could be a
그런
caster
만큼
one day, this
우승각이
Maru
좀
guy.
나온 것 같습니까?
Anything?
일단 제가 생각하는
since you
원탑을
defeated Rogue,
꺾었기 때문에
do you think,
충분히 가능할 것 같아요.
와.
Do you think he can make another GSL champion?
2연속 우승.
Says, yeah, I think
많은
so.
분들이 기대를 하실 것 같네요. 자, 그럼 마지막으로 팬들에게 한 마디 들어보겠습니다.
이렇게
Shout out to your
오랜만에
fans.
연속으로 잘하는 것 같은데 이렇게 팀원 이기고 올라온 만큼 꼭 결승 가도록 하겠습니다.
I'm really happy with my
알겠습니다. 다시
performance.
한번 4강 진출
Since I
축하드립니다.
managed to defeat Rogue, my teammate, I'm going to make sure to get to the finals and win this tournament. Congratulations!
네, 이렇게 다
What a
Dude,
series!
What if Maru wins all the GSLs this year and Sarah wins all the WCSs and then Rogue wins BlizzCon? I think what happens is someone at Blizzard just hits the button and the servers for StarCraft 2 shut off. They're like, we figured it out, okay.
It's time to end this beautiful experiment. We now know the answer. Wow, I mean, just crazy games. And the fact that Maru manages to get in there with those kind of timing attacks and take out someone like Rogue.
That was
If
impressive,
you're against the best late game player in the world, that also means that they have the best defense against stuff like that, or they wouldn't get to the late game.
Indeed.
So, really cool to see Maru do that. And it's interesting to see. I guess it's not just about the position of the tanks, it's what can the tanks target in that period of time, and can that cause it to snowball? Because each tank volley is so impactful in a StarCraft game.
It's very true.
Anyways, we're out of time. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our next best of 5 here in the GSL Codex.
You should know I'm not very patient, and no one ever won a heart by waiting. It's why I hope you feel the same. Please don't make me feel ashamed, 'cause I'm so sick of playing this almost lover's game. So, what do you wanna call us? What are we to you? Just friends? What do you wanna call this when we are through? If it ends in front of your new lover, I'm just an almost lover. In front of your new lover, I'm just an almost lover. Oh, please help me handle a heavy connection. 'Cause it's too soon to call it love, but there's attraction. And it's too late for you to turn away from this thing that we create. And I'm too hurt to play this almost lover's game. So, what do you wanna call us? What are we to you? Just friends? What do you wanna call this when this good thing comes to an end? In front of your new lover, I'm just an almost lover. In front of your new lover, I'm just an almost lover. Just an 'cause everything changes. Everything changes.
Sometimes I sigh and think about the past, but it's alright, 'cause everything changes. Hey Billy, remember when it was just us? Pretending we were Nash and Coral on the school bus. I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause everything changes. Life is different now, and that's okay with me. I moved away and you started a family. But deep inside, you and I are still the same kids. 'Cause you're my brother, and that won't ever change, even though everything changes. Tell me why I look back and I wanna cry. Sometimes I feel like we grew up too fast. You and I had the time of our younger lives. Sometimes I sigh and think about the past, but it's alright, yeah, it's alright. There's a new guest room in my parents' home. The carpet got replaced a couple years ago, because it isn't my bedroom anymore. There's new photographs on the freezer door, but it's alright, 'cause everything changes. We should talk all night and not say a word. Let me hop into your red Firebird again.
2018 GSL Season 2 Codas Overgrowth.
Wide eyes, dark sky, something's screaming inside. So free fall until the night storm. Face your demons tonight. Oh, there is no way to hide it. Now all the blood and pressure's rising. I can feel the thunder running through my veins, running through my veins. I can feel the thunder tonight, tonight. When darkness strikes and all the hearts ignite, I can feel the thunder running through my veins on the heart of a hurricane. Dark stars, burning hearts, you're not alone in this fight. Just breathe in, your electric skin will explode into life. Oh, you know that there's no way to hide it. Now all the blood and pressure's rising. I can feel the thunder running through my veins, running through my veins. I can feel the thunder tonight, tonight. When darkness strikes and all the hearts ignite, I can feel the thunder running through my veins on the heart of a hurricane. Running through my veins on the heart of a hurricane.
아프리카 TV에는 당신이 아는 것보다 다양한 인정이 살고 있죠. 말 많은 인정, 발 빠른 인정, 잘 먹는 인정, 영리한 인정, 친절한 인정까지. 모든 게 컨텐츠가 되고 누구나 주인공이 되는 세상. 알고 보면 멋진 세상.
Are you free? Africa TV.
(2018) GSL Season 2 Code S Overgrowth.
Welcome back to the GSL Code S. We just had a crazy series.
Yeah, we did. That was something else, man. Rogue versus Maru. If you haven't seen it, if you just tuned in.
If you just tuned in, I am so sorry.
Yeah, go back and watch that.
A series that I am never going to forget. Maru actually manages to beat Rogue 3-2. And now we go to the other side of the bracket. It's going to be Classic versus ByuN.
And just one final word. That's the end of Zergs in this tournament.
That's right. They're extinct.
David Kim!
How could you blizzard?
But yeah, Maru definitely, I mean, so good. It's crazy. So Classic versus ByuN. This is a very exciting match and such a different match because ByuN was just not looking that good since his BlizzCon championship up until a few weeks ago. He wasn't looking that good, and then he like smashed some good Zergs late game, and then in the last round he killed Stats in the round of 16. This crazy group, like we thought for sure Stats and SOS would come out, but instead it's ByuN and Gumiho coming out, and ByuN looked amazing. He looked so good. He looks like a champion.
He looked better than we've almost ever seen. I mean,
since
that's
his
saying
championship,
a lot,
yeah,
because he's a world champion. Anyways, we're going to be going to that match in a moment. Stay with us.
아무래도 경기 준비를 잘 하는 것 같아가지고 그런 경기 준비성에 대해서는 굉장한 장점인 것 같습니다.
오, 너 지금 딱 김도우 선수 딱 그 생각 알렸거든요. 그 슈퍼 토너먼트에서 조성주 선수랑 하는 거 봤는데 이게 딱 조성주 선수 스타일에 맞춤을 제대로 준비해 오셨더라고요. 그거 보고 와 진짜 대단하다 생각했는데 누가 조성주가 그렇게 압도적으로 질 거 생각하겠어요.
너무 블리츠컨 이후에 확 없어진 거? 좀 안 보이시더라고요.
세게 들어오네? 무슨 나보다 많이 하나요? 없는데? 내가 나은 게 없는데? 오, 진짜 무결점 같아요. 게이머로서 단점이 별로 없어요. 이게 셔그전, 테란전, 프로토스는 약점도 별로 없고 연습도 열심히 하시고 심지어 인성도 좋아요. 제가 연습을 해봤는데 연습을 도와주면 그냥 고맙단 말 한마디 하잖아요. 그냥 거의 모든 선수들이 그게 잘못된다는 건 아닌데 김도우 선수는 고맙다고 하고 커피 기프티콘 보내주죠. 근데 저도 원래 연습 도와주면 치킨 보내줘요. 제가 더 비싼 거니까 제가 더
그냥 머리색을 굉장히 많이 바꾸시는데 생각보다 되게 잘 어울려가지고 그러한 아이돌스러운 머리가 어울리는 게 장점인 것 같습니다.
저는 있어요, 김도우 선수. 항상 볼 때마다 생각했는데 딱 보면 뭔가 진짜 연예인 보는 듯한 그런 느낌이 있어요. 제가 딱 세 명 느껴봤어요. 이번에 3명, 원래 이신영 선수, 어윤수 선수, 이번에 김도우 선수. 왜 다 SK인지 모르겠는데 그런 느낌이 있어요. 약간 귀족 같은? 영어는 왜 빠졌어? 영어는 지가 무슨 조지명 씨 인터뷰 보니까 지가 제일 잘생겼다는데 말도 안 되는 소리예요. 징징을 너무 대시는 것 같아요. 아니 징징도 막 조지현 이런 애가 되면 모르겠어. 그러니까 약간 실력이 조금 떨어지는 지현이가 하면 몰라요. 김도우 선수 엄청 잘하거든요? 진짜 잘하잖아요. 막 질 것 같은 느낌이 안 드는데 맨날 토스 약하시다고 하고 그래서 신영님이 말하는 건 다 알고 있습니다. 맞아, 테란 안 좋아. 테란 막 배야 돼.
굉장히 외로워 보여요. 아니, 저도 솔직히 뭐 이렇게 친구를 많이 사귀는 스타일이 아닌데 변현우 선수를 보면 고독해 보이더라고요. 뭐 본인이 좋으면 상관없겠지만 그냥 제 입장으로서는 약간의 단점. 안 친해서 좀 이런 말 하긴 그런데 약간 페인 같아 보이더라고요. 조금 더 세상에 나갔으면 좋겠네요. 우선 2위로 올라와 주셔서 너무 고맙고 뭐 잘하시긴 하지만 제가 테란전 더 자신 있기 때문에 제가 이기고 4강 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
이번에 32강에서 김도우 선수한테 떨어졌는데 그때는 제가 저거저만 준비했어요. 프로토스는 준비하지 못했고 이번에는 그래도 준비 기간 아예 없는 건 아니니까 이번에 준비 제대로 해서 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
That was a great interview.
I like that. Lots of good trash
I like
talk.
that he says that ByuN looks empty.
Here he says, let's meet our two players for our second match. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
자, 두 분은 일단 컨디션 아주 좋아 보입니다. 먼저 김도우 선수 자신이 원했던
Seems like your condition is good today, both of you.
그때는 이제 원했는데 또 테란전을
How do you feel?
준비하다 보니 테란전이 굉장히 어렵더라고요.
At that time, I wanted to meet ByuN, but
컨디션이 좀 별로인 것 같아요. 제가
I felt like this was very hard to prepare for.
먹어가지고
So I've changed my mind recently. I've actually had some nightmares that I'm going to lose against ByuN today. So hopefully I do. It turns out to not be
아니 그래도 제가 봤을
from the
때는
future.
32강에서 이겼었던 상대니까 자신감이 있을 것 같거든요.
But when I look in the round of 32 matches, you won against him. So you must be confident, right?
오늘까지 이기면 더 자신 있을 것 같은데 오늘이 좀
Yeah, I'm pretty confident overall against Terrence. If I win tonight, I think that's going to be a big boost to give me a lot of momentum.
저그전만 준비를 했다 이렇게 이야기를 하셨었는데요. 먼저 김도우를 만난 느낌 솔직하게 이야기해 본다면.
일단 16강에서
Tell us
프로토스전
your honest opinion right now on how you feel at the Pacing Classic.
선수한테 항상 복수를 하고 싶었어요. 32강에서 너무 압도적으로 져가지고.
So this time I've only been playing to get ready against Protoss. I want to get revenge on him since I lost in the round of 32. I thought it was a pretty one-sided loss for me.
보이는 선수가 김도우 선수여가지고 저한테는 괜찮은 것 같아요.
네, 두 분 다 괜찮다 이야기를 하시는데요.
And I would actually say Classic is the most beatable players among this group.
두 분이잖아요. 이번에도 그 갈고 닦은 판짜기도
So both of you guys are known for preparing very well.
오늘은 또 얼마나 정성을 들여서 오늘 판짜기를 해오셨을지 궁금하네요. 김도우 선수.
So I also wonder what exactly do you have in store for us. Let's start with you, Classic.
대진이 나온 이후로
How was preparation overall?
연습도 많이 했기 때문에
So after I saw the round of 8 brackets, I've only been thinking about PVT. That's what I poured myself into. And I think I've got a good chance here.
와, 변현우 선수, 김대현 선수.
Wow, okay, well, what about you, ByuN?
정말 짜릿했거든요. 오늘은 뭐 어떤 거 준비해 오셨어요?
You defeated Stats already. He's a great Protoss player. How about your prep?
근데 방금 성주가 인터뷰로
Well, since it's only one matchup to prepare for in the round of 8. And I heard in Maru's interview, he's mentioning about my builds.
아, 그래요? 그 빌드.
He told me directly that my builds are not that good.
오는 것 같습니다.
So, but he didn't say that in the interview, which confuses me a little bit.
두 선수가 제가 봤을
Not quite
때는
answering the question there.
확실히 라운드가 거듭될수록 강하다는 느낌입니다. 김도우 선수가 봤을
So
때도
it seems
변현우
like
선수가 32강 때와 16강
the
때와
players, both of you guys are improving as each round goes by. Don't you feel like you're looking at a different ByuN than before?
가장 먼저 떨어질 거라고 예상을 했는데 생각보다 잘하셔가지고 좀 놀랐고.
I expected ByuN to get knocked out in the round of 16.
그렇지만 뭐 제가
But he played way better than I was ready for.
이기도록 하겠습니다.
Anyways, though, I'm confident in this matchup, so I'm feeling good.
잘 알죠. 제가 레더를
And you,
되게 많이
ByuN?
하는데 레더에서는 제가 거의 다 이기거든요. 그래서 제가 또 오늘도 이길 것 같긴 한데.
So I've been actually bumping into Classic several times in the ladder, and most of the time when I face him, I beat him.
많은 거 준비하신 것 같고 또
So I don't know how he could be that confident against me.
경기 준비를 되게 잘하는 거다 보니까 방심하지 말고 뭐 열심히 해봐요.
I know Classic prepares really hard.
힘 빠지는 것 같아요. 여기서 강력하게 한 방 밀어붙입니다. 우리 서로에게 한마디. 변현우 선수부터
So it seems like you are losing your confidence. It seems like you're getting worse as this interview goes on. Well, before the round of 16, I used a different style, different builds. I did more proxies and stuff like that. Please keep that in mind as we go into this match.
와, 5판 연속으로
Whenever I can do proxies.
화답해 주시죠.
Maybe he says he's going to proxy 5 times in a row, basically. How do you respond to that, Classic? I don't even need to search for his proxies.
네, 와 지금 인터뷰에서부터
It
많은
doesn't matter.
생각을 하게 되는데요. 자, 8강 2경기 시작하겠습니다.
All right, that does it.
Dude, I love ByuN interviews, okay? He's like the Joker from Batman, okay? At the beginning of the interview, you're like, okay, I mean, you're not really answering the questions, but it seems like you're really smart. And then he lights all of his money on fire, and I'm like, what is going on here? What is this interview? What are you talking? He's like, well, last time I proxied a lot, so I hope you take that into consideration. And I'm like, what is going on?
Throws a smoke bomb and disappears over to the computer. We're like, all right.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we are.
Anyways, Classic versus ByuN. This is going to be crazy. ByuN really has brought a much remodeled style from what we've seen before. Classic, I've been saying this for a while, Classic 2.0. This guy has, especially in this matchup, he's very strong.
Yeah. Look at that. His versus Terran win rate, 2018, 100% against Terran. He's even the guy that knocked out Maru of previous tournament. What was it? Oh, it was Super Tournament.
That's right.
And he even beat ByuN already in the round of 32 here. So Classic is the best PvT in the world. He has been for some time now. He's superb defensively and offensively. Like, his micro, I wouldn't call him the #1 micro, and I wouldn't call him the #1 defense, but he's like 9s in everything in this matchup, I think is a good way to put it. And no one else had, like, Stats is a 10 on, you know, defense, and then, like, CJ Hero might be a 10 on offense. Or not CJ Hero, sorry, Root Hero. But, you know, Classic, he's just like, well, this guy is just monstrous in all ways.
Well, here's ByuN, the former world champion. Probably some of the best control out of anybody with any race that we've ever really seen.
Yeah.
He can make his units do stuff that doesn't even make sense. If you're watching what he's doing, do not try this at home, kids, because you will lose a lot of your army, a lot of your drops. But is it going to be enough to take on Classic, who is so methodical with how he preps, how he disarms a Terran? By the way, ByuN with some much better late game than I'm used to seeing, much more technical, not just you know, microing little fights, but really abusing ghosts, things like that.
And even as Classic said, he really prepped his builds for Stats so well. Like, he had some great strategies, some nice proxies. He was controlling games very, very well. It's harder to control Classic, though. Stats does, ByuN said in his interview, Stats is easy to prepare for, even though Stats has crushed him in the past. I thought that was silly for him to say, but then he really out-prepared Stats and killed him. Classic, though, is such a different beast. This guy might just get in ByuN's face. You never know.
Okay, game 1 in this best of 5 will be on the map, Lost and Found. Classic versus ByuN. The winner goes on to face off against Maru in the Final Four of the GSL Code S.
Fight! Classic. ByuN.
Yeah, so. Yeah. No idea how this series is going to go.
Well,
like, if it's a 3-0, it's towards Classic. That's about as much as I can say. Right? Like, I can't fathom Classic ever going down 0-3 against any Protoss.
I think this is going to be
Terran,
3-2 or 3-1 Classic.
That's what it feels like to me.
I think ByuN's going to steal one win.
Okay.
No proxy. He did lie. The mind games. The disrespect.
For so long, I discounted ByuN. You know, and Classic said it. He actually said the exact same thing we were talking about during his interview. It's like after his BlizzCon victory, he kind of disappeared. Like, he just, it's like he didn't have it anymore. He just wasn't winning anymore.
I think this is, you know, just as human beings, this is not that crazy when you really think about it.
Right.
You become the world champion.
Yeah.
The world champion.
Hardest thing to do.
On this globe, spinning in space.
The hardest game, man.
7 billion people, you're the best one.
Yeah.
It's understandable that maybe you just take a break. Maybe you pump the brakes a little bit, right? And so, yeah, ByuN wasn't looking as dominant. He wasn't looking as scary. But now he's back. He's kind of the wild card of this round of 8.
I feel that way, too. And it's so exciting because I know he's such a gigantic fan favorite. but we'll see if he can keep that up. I mean, taking down Stats, who's been the most basically stable guy, like him in Innovation for a couple years now, are just like, bam, we're always there. But yeah, I guess we just sit here and wait and see. I like want, you know how like in the Matrix they'd be like, oh, you want to learn karate, and then they just put the cassette in the back of your head or whatever. I want to do that with this series. I'm just like, just tell me what happens. I just want to know. Like, is ByuN still there? Is he still got it? Is he going to kill Classic?
And then what you do is you erase your memory after you do it.
Yeah.
And then I have the joy of going through it again.
Yeah.
That's right.
I tell you, that would be amazing if you could erase memories and re-enjoy. I would just watch, if I could do that, I would just continually watch all of Battlestar Galactica and then reset my memory and then watch again. That would be the only show I ever watch. I'd leave myself a note, like on my arm, like the guy from, what's that movie?
Memento?
Memento.
With it tattooed on him?
Like, don't trust anyone's lies. Battlestar Galactica is the greatest thing ever if you haven't seen it before. Just keep watching it, you'll be happy forever.
I never actually saw that. Is it actually that good?
Yeah, if you've never seen, you don't know what happens, it's like the best show you will ever watch.
Ooh, that's exciting. It's good to know.
Yeah. The new one, not the old one. And by new, I mean like 2003 or something. But like, there's one from like the 50s that's you don't want to watch that one.
Yeah. That sounds like that might be fantastically bad.
It's just fantastically old, so yeah, it's not. Anyways.
Hold up. Oracle moving out. Both of these flying units go by each other without being spotted. There's a Cyclone here in case the Oracle comes in, and it's here now. Ooh, kind of moving back and forth there. Pretty much only loses shields. Now the medevac is still headed south.
Look at this placement by Classic. He has 2 Adepts in one line, an Oracle in the other one, just kind of ready.
I don't believe he spotted that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he definitely didn't. Look at that. Those Adepts completely going the wrong direction. Oh boy! Wow!
This is like a
big deal.
Mistake. This is not.
This is like a
what's
mistake.
the word? A mistake? No, I mean
This can't be what Classic wants.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, this is considering how good these guys are. The fact that he just drops a bunch of medevac. It's just this is not the way the game is supposed to go at all.
You're very
not at the
right.
highest level.
I agree with you. It's very funny how you said it though.
The medevac has gone back out. Now he's got a Widowmine coming out, but there's 3 Oracles headed up here.
That's where things can get pretty dirty. You're one shot and everything at that point.
And he's going to get a decent number of kills. 5 are taken out there.
Yeah, definitely some decent harassment going down. 3rd Nexus coming up nice and quickly. An okay amount of actual gateway units coming up as well. 3 Stalkers and 3 Adepts.
He's still making these Oracles.
It's the law of 3s.
He wants to pick a fight, yeah.
But it's against 3 Cyclones. And 3 Adepts and 3 Stalkers and 3 Cyclones. Stop 3 medevacs and 3... Just everything tastes 3s. Oh my god, I see it.
I think he can actually get the Cyclones out of position. Loop back around here with this Oracle. He hasn't lost any Cyclones yet. I think this should just get away. And it does.
Well, just buying this time right now is really, really valuable.
I think if Terran moved out, Terran would lose pretty much all of his army. Yeah.
Oh, that Banshee was hidden really well. Cloak just finished.
Oh my god, I think the Oracles are actually going to go right by.
Huh. Is that just really turning around? Oh, do you know what? He just all-army hotkeyed. That's what he did. He did all-army. That has to be it.
Okay.
Ooh, he gets one of the Oracles and this is like the worst case scenario right now for Classic. He used up like all of his energy there.
And this Cloaked Banshee's come in. There's no probes here yet. Okay, he begins to take out a few. And Terran's actually pushing. Kind of funny watching this series after watching what we saw in our first series.
Oracle's about to kill Viking Tasteless. Watch!
All right, now I've seen it all! Okay, this push, though, could be a problem.
Yeah.
Oracle energy is being spent trying to put out these fires when it might have been better spent when this actual attack starts up here from ByuN.
I don't think this attack can quite do it. This is like too many gateway units. He actually engages really poorly at the beginning there, but definitely Classic's army wins this.
Okay. Adepts are coming up.
All right, he gets on top of everything, and with the oracles coming in, this is such an easy clear.
Oh my God, completely wrecks that.
Yeah.
Now he takes out some of those Widow Mines. The Banshee's out, nowhere to be found. Third base is exposed. And I mean, this is going to be a ton of damage. I can't imagine these Cyclones are going to do anything really meaningful here in this game. As we already have, I think it's actually in the main we have Oracles. Yeah, and Phoenixes here.
Well, certainly can at minimum force a cancel there on that third command center built on location. Oh my gosh. Very messy game though. Everyone's walking into...
This is a scrappy fight from start to finish here. Cyclone's taking out a few probes. Looks like Classic's going to try to push in here. He's going to try to target down the bunker. It does go down. The Widow Mines expose themselves. Can Classic actually close this out with a kill?
He's doing some decent damage here to these SCVs. He definitely lost some probes at home.
There's no easy way to warp in from here. I don't see any warp prism. I don't see any pylon.
Oh, Blink is done. Okay. It's like how many times we're going to see Stalkers die to Widow Mines this game.
Okay, that's a pretty big blow to ByuN. He's back on 2 bases. He lost a good chunk of everything technical that he had. You know, air units, Cyclones, medevacs.
Yeah. A lot of Oracles going down this game, but I kind of like the way that Classic's been playing it, right? He kept making Oracles, and he was on only 3 gates for quite a while, made a lot of gateway units, but some of these like kind of mid-game-ish, early mid-game pushes, he just stomped them all. It seemed like he was safe the whole time, even though he did end up taking some damage because it's been a down and dirty game.
Okay, medevac coming out now to try to do a drop. We do see ByuN trying to push out. Again, ByuN, one of the most aggressive players, but this angle is going to be very bad. Classic not overextending, decides to back up. The Widow Mine's not quite burrowing in time. Oh, this is going to be weird. All right, and with this recall, that mine is dead.
Yes.
There was no hope.
So wrecked.
No hope for that Widow Mine.
That mine. His friend being chased down too.
I know. So, third base is going to be taken here. We have combat shields almost done. I am worried, though. If Classic comes up, he might have just enough that he could start shaving off all of ByuN's army. ByuN, again, he's known for getting into a lot of fights most players would consider crazy and then actually winning it. But the problem is if he's not winning those fights consistently, he is doing what we'll call losing losing his stuff and ultimately losing the game. And right now, Classic's had some very good exchanges. ByuN's been trying to play catch-up. And in supply, he's certainly done that, but his third base is late, whereas Classic's fourth base has just started.
And Classic right now getting into Psystorm, that's going to be a really crucial moment. If he gets into Psystorm, that's where Classic wins so many games. He gets into it, and then bam, out of the Prism comes a few High Templars, storms the hell out of the Terran army, and then you're pretty much done. But ByuN bringing this to a head right now.
Yeah, well, that could not have gone better for Protoss.
The medevac that did the hot pickups, I think, just died to Widow Mine Splash. I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw.
You know what's unfortunate about this is that there's a base that was being taken right over there in the upper left, and ByuN didn't even check. So ByuN attacked in the wrong area. That goes uncontested. Psystorm's 10 seconds away from finishing. So, I mean, this is looking very good for Classic, to say the least.
Yeah, and that +2 armor is on the way. The armory just going to be finishing up here for ByuN so he can get more upgrades going, but they are definitely a little bit late. It's starting to push in here. That is, with those Psystorms, though, there's no way. Those Psystorms, though, there's no way.
No, this is just, say it again.
With those Psystorms, though,
there's no way!
And then he just kills all of them and takes no damage from Psystorm. Okay. So Psystorms there's definitely a way.
Well, as you can see, there's so much here from Classic that he can actually start to pursue this army and no longer have to try to get into a good position just to defend it. The Zealots are getting bled off, but you can just keep jumping in here with these Stalkers, these Phoenixes picking up Marauders. There's almost as many Marauders now as there are medevacs, and he's just going to keep chasing. Wow. Look at this. He just comes in here and targets those down. Again, losing that many medevacs is really problematic. You can always part ways with Marines and Marauders if they're trading into units, but medevacs, not so much.
No. I really like the way that you're speaking today. That's
Thank you.
It's very true though. That's like I always call it like your long-term units, right? Like you want to build medevacs over the game. You can't really be losing them. You can lose things like Zealots and Stalkers. You don't want to lose your long-term gain value units like splash damage units, right?
These things that have equity from the moment you get them all the way to the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, this was. I can't believe that mine burrowed, but I guess kudos to Classic for dodging it.
Not the best side storm right there, actually.
Yeah, that one was
there
pretty
you
good.
go. Yeah, that's a nice one. Classic's so good with these dropping side storms.
So I'm not sure what exactly ByuN can do to try to stop the inevitable push that's going to come here from Classic. Oh, and actually Classic's going to just crush this before it really even gets started.
Yeah, and it's been a while since a recall anyway, so it's not like he's even that far out of position if ByuN starts to try to dash across the map. It looks like ByuN has broken off a few units at least to go over towards the top left here. Oh, no. Well, okay, I guess he did. Going up and stimming towards that top left, but the attack from Classic here.
Oh, no.
Those storms, though.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ways you can...
Don't kill the stalkers, there's Zealots behind.
Hey guys, you notice there's a stalker in the bottom right? There he is. How did he get there? I don't know. So this is it. GG Classic crushing ByuN in game number ByuN.
Okay, so that was a cool game though. That was very down and dirty, but Classic, it felt like he had an edge for basically all of it. Yeah, I don't know. He kind of defended everything pretty well. He took some counter damage, but his harass was a little bit better than ByuN's. I mean, ByuN's first drop, that was a mistake from Classic, as you so well put it. But he took damage there, but from there, from there, Classic just kind of controlled everything. I thought that he did really well.
I want to remind everybody that when we saw ByuN beating Classic, it actually kind of looked like it was almost TY playing. He always scanned and killed the observers. He was in this game. It seemed like he wasn't moving his army out correctly at all. You know, he didn't even scout that fourth base, and he attacked it anyways into a totally unfavorable position. ByuN did not look like the same player who advanced from the round of 16.
Well, I think this has to do with Classic's aggression. He was making more units off 3 gates than you normally see.
Yeah.
The counter pushes he was doing with Oracles and Stalkers and Adepts, I think that caught ByuN off guard. He forced to cancel in the third. He did some damage to the SCVs. Great play from Classic.
Game 2's up. Let's go.
Misclick there.
Everybody be quiet. Internet. Twitch chat. Shh, quiet. He's gonna make a barracks out here. Right there. Right there. There it is. There it is. It's just by that tree. Those volcanoes. Those volcanoes over there. The ones with the green smoke.
Hey, what's this probe doing?
I
probe is
spy
looking for that.
With my little probe eye.
Okay, I'm gonna watch ByuN's face, okay?
Oh no.
Oh, never mind. By the way, ByuN's face didn't change when that probe didn't scout it.
Wow, okay.
Just want to let everyone know at home.
It's important. That's why we're here. But, of course, when the probe gets up into the Terran's main and sees the lack of a barracks, then you know it's out there on the map.
Indeed, especially when you see this double gas. It's like, okay.
Classic goes and closes the blinds. Something's going on out there. Good thing we marked that part of the plateau with caution, because that might be where the Reaper comes up.
That is going to be where the Reaper comes up, in fact. You're right about that. And he proxies the factory as well. Classic will know about this in just a couple seconds.
Yep. Again, because there is no factory inside the main.
Yeah, and he knows the timings of all this as well. So ByuN being super aggressive this game. I'm excited to see, does Classic go Robo or does he go Stargate? That's a Stargate placement right there.
Stargate for sure.
Yeah.
And wow.
Look at his walls, too. This is very anti-proxy.
This is all very intentional.
If you think that it's not going to be a proxy barracks, it might be better to just wall the jump-up point more quickly.
So ByuN is the best Reaper player
ever
in the world.
Do you wish Reapers were stronger? It's ByuN's fault. Message him on Twitter.
The starport is now proxied. A Cyclone is on the way. And although there has not been a tremendous amount of damage done here,
by ByuN. He's definitely dictating what Classic's making. And, you know, in situations like this, you can definitely navigate the game to a win if you know exactly what you're doing.
Okay, so with Cyclones, is he going to make a Liberator or a Medevac? A Medevac, right? Like Cyclone drops or something?
Let's
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
yeah,
it is.
that is what he's going to do. Well, that makes sense. I mean, with a small number of units, like Cyclones, against a small number of Protoss units, you can actually do so much damage. It's crazy.
Ooh, if he shades right in on top of this, that's not going to be any good. Okay, he doesn't.
Oracle coming out.
Yeah, he's going to see what's going on. It's interesting that he's making Oracles. Like, Oracles aren't going to be bad here by any means. A lot of times when you see people try to go anti-cheese in this type of situation, you might see like Phoenixes. We've seen some people do that because they can do things like punish medevacs, but like if this was more of a tank-based push, I think the Oracles would be a little bit better.
I don't feel like this is doing the damage it's supposed to do.
Yeah, not yet.
You know, just like we saw Rogue get the Zerglings underneath the medevacs, same idea here. You just get right under this.
Yeah.
Don't give him any leg room.
Oh, there's nothing here.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Where are those SCVs going? It's like Micro Classic.
I saw Marine King do this 8 years ago. It's all right. Not the same thing, guys. So, zap, 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 zap. You are going to die. Okay,
That
so
is-
this, I mean, effectively, this game is done. I mean, this game might...
Oh, my God.
ByuN is dead, just not physically yet. But, I mean, the writing is on the wall here. That is a lot of SCVs pulled. Now, maybe Classic will overstep, make a mistake, lose some key units. But, I mean, the fact that the SCVs had to travel out that far, the proxy didn't do anything. The buildings have to float back before they can be used effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just...
Sometimes you see them lift those up and then float them a little ways and start producing again because they get so far behind in these spots.
It's like, you know, when you flunk a class and it's like, oh, yeah, 55 is an F. Well, this is like a 12 or something where it's like also an F. But this is... Nothing went the way that ByuN wanted it to go. You know, so far this has not been close. And this is going to be scary for ByuN.
Yeah, with this many air units out right now, he doesn't have another command center. He's lost so many SCVs. His economy is just terrible. He has some good tech units. That's the only thing going for him. He's making some Widow Mines over across the map, so maybe he can get lucky with those as well. But like that second Nexus is going to finish up. Ooh, that's a nice pick off. That's really good.
Shot that right out of the sky.
Yeah. Kills this.
Well, I think it's there, so he might as well try to damage it, you know?
No reason not to.
I mean, right now, Classic, one way he can play this is just to keep ByuN on one base. 2 bases versus 1.
Yeah.
That's never bad if you're the 2-baser. Okay, and there's a bad rally.
Oh. Now maybe he's just blocking him from getting the shield battery. He's going to try to break him. Well, I guess he does have a lot more units here, doesn't he?
Yeah, it seems like numbers are just on Classic's side, and if he breaks him here, he does. GG, Classic right now with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah. I mean, that was ByuN kind of going all in. You know, you proxy 3 buildings in the beginning of the game. You must get a lot of damage done. The Cyclone drop is normally not what you see with that. If you see all those buildings proxied, a lot of times you get like a siege tank. You might be making some additional Marines. A bunker push, maybe you make a Liberator in with that. Occasionally you'll see like a Banshee or something, like a Cloak Banshee. But Classic, you know, he decided to go for the Oracle and definitely got sick damage with that, and then just chased around the medevac with the units in it, you know, and cut underneath. You unload next to 2 Zealots, that's not going to do a lot.
Classic is playing an excellent PvT, and ByuN is looking outclassed.
He is right now, yeah.
That's scary.
Well, with how he played against Stats, you would expect him to be able to at least put up a fight here. But Classic showing the strength of his PvT, the guy who knocked Maru out of Super Tournament when Maru's on the hottest streak of his life, and that's saying something.
So I do want to point out here is that, you know, Stats has a much more retracted, withdrawn play style. He doesn't really want to initiate anything early on.
Yeah.
Classic is very much an active player. You have to do the dance that he's doing, or you're going to fall apart.
He'll mix it up. He'll defend and then attack you with what he defended with. You know, it's hard to play against Classic, I think.
And I feel like Stats in some ways was like the ideal player for ByuN to take on, because ByuN does just want to try to attack into some guy who's trying to stop everything he's going to do. Whereas Classic, there's it's like you got to move like water, you know? What we saw in Game 1, Classic pushed out. He had a lot of dominance on the map early on, intimidated ByuN back, came in there, did a lot of damage to the workers, and ultimately Classic put himself into a position where it was just too difficult to actually get a closer, but he was still attacking it. And then in Game 2 with those proxies, I mean, if they don't do anything, there's a reason why not everybody all the time is doing proxies. There is huge risk involved.
Yeah.
And Classic made it look like you should never, ever proxy him ever.
Not all 3 buildings, at least. I think the Proxy Barracks Reaper is, you know, take it or leave it, but make all your buildings there. You don't have much defense at home.
ByuN also lost that first Reaper. You know, having just one extra unit sometimes in those rushes makes a big difference. One extra mine to knock them in a certain way. We're ready, though, now. This is game number 3 on Dreamcatcher Classic versus ByuN.
Classic.
Looking ridiculously strong in this matchup still.
ByuN.
Was looking ridiculously strong in this matchup, but seemingly has met his match thus far.
You know, we may have complete opposite best of 5s tonight. I mean, we had Maru versus Rogue, which was, you know, the Matrix comboed with the Lord of the Rings for, you know, epic battles, and then we have ByuN versus Classic, and this may just end in a fizzle.
Yeah,
I mean, ByuN might just lose out.
Well, you know what?
And you know, you can really in a day like today, this does emphasize that even with the current 8 best players in the world, you can have a crazy one-sided series.
Yeah, and well, so far we're seeing it that way. And don't forget, like, if you look at the bracket, once Rogue died, in my opinion, this became Classic's tournament. Like, he's so good at PvT. He's so well prepared. His road is ByuN, Maru, and then you look at that other side of the bracket, TY can absolutely get to the finals, and even if he doesn't, there's probably a Protoss there.
Yeah, you're making a good point where Classic, even though, you know, we're so hyped about the previous match, Classic, with the possible players he could end up hitting, he might win this season too.
Yeah, and he has been one of the very best players in the world for so long. He's the win toss, if you recall. This guy has multiple BlizzCon top 4s. He did well at IM Katowice. He did well at WESG, right? A lot of these tournaments just getting knocked out by people like Dark, specifically Dark in many, many tournaments, right? He's a GSL champion, an SSL champion, an IEM champion. Like, Classic he's just so good. You've been calling him Classic 2.0, and he is.
He's been patched.
He's been patched. It's better than the Windows update.
That's right.
I mean, his opponents didn't want it, just like none of us wanted the Windows update. But here he is anyways.
A week ago, I lost a StarCraft game because of some weird Windows update going on.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. I'm like, no.
Remind me later or do this. And then when it finally does update, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, look at that. It's like, Windows is like, hey, did you like the settings you had before? I'm like, yeah. It's like, go do them again. They're gone now.
It's horrible.
Like, but I can't remember. It takes me a long time to do this.
I lose that game because of that, and then I, of course, have to restart my computer because the update went through, and then I get online, the guy's talking trash on me, and I'm just like, I'm just having a bad day.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, Oracle coming out now. ByuN is playing, I think, what is obviously way more in the realm of normal, but it is like, you know, he's got 2 barracks here, he's getting stim, he's staying back.
Yeah, this is actually, this is a very kind of strange in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, stim and +1 very quickly. This is like very old, this type of style.
But I think he might want to try to do a push with this.
Yeah.
That's just going to throw off Classic, because this is a lot of times we'll just see the factory and then the Stargate or starport, excuse me, right away. But you know, this is going to be an abnormal amount of Marines. But you know, if the Oracle comes in and spots this, which it could, does this not just take the wind out of the sails of the build?
Well, this is not exactly like. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, right? What we're watching here, and that's kind of a hidden factory, which is neat. But what we're watching here, the fact that he's like kind of powering up his number of barracks, he's getting Stimmin +1. The way that Classic has been playing, which is with a higher amount of units out of his lower amount of production buildings early in the game, right? Because there's different forms of powering. A lot of Protosses will do something like a couple Oracles, third Nexus, bunch of gateways, then units. Classic has been going like medium gateways, Oracles, third base, bunch of units, then gateways, and he's like punishing ByuN for smaller move outs, right?
Yeah, well, he's always making sure that he has this blunt, large amount of units that can pretty much win a fight, oftentimes based off numbers. So I think the finesse of ByuN is then negated.
And, well, here he's like, with the better upgrades more quickly and the larger overall army, this is the type of, like the type of build that ByuN is doing. This is the type of play that a player like Zest is more set up to beat, right? Like, Zest will have the most units you can have after the third base is up. You know what I mean? Like, he will skimp the most and get an upgrade and have, like, a ridiculous amount of units at, like, the very last second to hold something. Whereas Classic oftentimes will, like, kind of have these weirder mid-range armies, which I think is part of why he's so strong, because of the way people play. But this is a very strong attack that's coming out of ByuN right now. Look at the amount of units.
The Oracles are going to come in. There's really not much to defend, but at the same time, if the Oracles are here, they're not back at home to help. So the workers are going to, you know, ByuN's going to take the initial bruising, but then, you know, these Oracles are, first of all, going to be out of energy for sure when this is all said and done.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what Classic has back at home. Medevacs are coming up. I don't know, actually. He's got a decent amount, but drop it in the main. Did you see how his Medevacs wiggle like that when he drops them in there?
Yeah.
So he comes in right now, and he needs to start getting some of his own damage off here.
This is good. So far, this is really good. Look at that. He takes down the Voider. That's a Classic special we can talk about later, but he loses like one unit. Look how much damage he's doing.
Oh, ByuN is doing it.
Yeah, he is. This is a clever play from ByuN. This goes much better against the style that Classic generally shows, I think.
Yeah, got every probe. 17 kills here. ByuN is bringing it.
Yeah.
Oh!
All right.
I just heard an insane scream in the audience, by the way, when that came down.
That was a ByuN.
That was like a scream out of the movie Psycho or something. That was. So, you know, he is starting to lose some of these units that he attacked in with. You got to get in there, do the damage, and get out. Medevacs, as we said earlier, they're not expendable units.
Okay, so who's ahead after that?
Well, I think Classic, the fact that he still has a big army, he didn't lose those Oracles, right? I think Classic still has the option to pick a fight and win.
I think, okay, yeah, like Classic definitely has some things going for him with blink finishing. I think if ByuN gets his armory real fast, see, Classic really understands where he's behind. He's adding 2 forges right now. Because I feel like right now for ByuN, because he is making a 3rd command center, and he has 1-1 against no upgrades and no forges currently, after killing that +1, that's like where his strength really lies at the moment.
Okay. ByuN's going to move out again. Now, when ByuN does is he either gets more and more ahead or more behind. There's really no... There's no if, and, or buts about it.
There will be no parity after this attack.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
With that tag.
Oh, my God. The force fields are really good.
Yeah, good control.
But hold on, is that too many Marauders?
That is a lot of Marauders. That's a good point you bring up there.
Yeah. That's why I make the big Blink Certosis.
Blink's a good upgrade, though.
Yeah, but these are all eventually going to have no HP, right? I mean, we're not looking at it, but you know, Stalkers are pretty brittle units. ByuN is going to try to move it even further.
Only Stalkers being warped in. The technicality of his army is for the most part gone.
He's running away now. And with a really good tag here. He actually needs to get these mines out of here like now.
I guess he'll just end up losing them all. But
so it's like every time that ByuN has this great engage, Classic comes out at the last second and breaks off half the army. And I don't, you know.
But he lost his sentries. So that's good. He's like only got Stalkers right now. And he is still down 2 upgrades. He just his 1-1 is not very far along. So I don't know. Maybe there is still ByuN can still take this.
I think he totally can, but this has got to be a scary game here. Game 3. Classic's already smashed you in under half an hour in 2 games.
That's true.
Classic just continuing to power up. He may be itching to try to attack this third base that ByuN's taken. The one that ByuN took is pretty far out in the middle of the map. For the time being, he's just defending. He's also managed to tag the majority of the medevacs. So we see a drop coming up here, but there's not going to be any kind of crazy drop in the main with 4 medevacs unloading everything.
I think you're right about that. Kind of harassing still here with the Oracles. Some good tags as well. 1-1 is coming along for Classic. Definitely an important couple upgrades. We'll put him back on an even keel here against ByuN. And with Psystorm coming up too, that's always an important moment.
He's trying to get this teared up no matter what it takes. By the way, 1-1's about to finish. This may sync up right when ByuN begins to attack in. No real way of him to know that, but again, this could go very well here for Classic. Both of those upgrades complete.
Oh my. At 1-1, he has charge now too, right? Ooh, good Widowmine drop. 9 probes falling. Force field's going out here for Classic. He needs to hold on a little bit longer. His Psystorm just not ready. He starts using feedbacks. Oh, but this army of ByuN is so scary.
Yeah, you know, he needs more Immortals with this. The Stalkers alone might not cut it.
Classic coming back around. Wow.
Good save there by ByuN. Oh, wow, and the Widowmine's over here. I was wondering, I'm like, where did it go? Did the probes actually get it? Okay.
That's 11 more probes dying? So Classic's probe count's still really weak.
Man, ByuN is actually ahead in supply right now.
Yeah, and his 2-2 is halfway done. Classic hasn't started.
Oh my God, the War Prism! The Storm is so good.
Really
just
legit.
Chiseling down that army. And ByuN has to turn around.
These are the most hero Oracles ever, by the way. They have done so much, and the Marine count is actually super low. Continue to help, even draw that mine shot, but they're finally dead.
ByuN really doing a lot with a little here. And you know, these Archons, especially when Zealots come in with them, they're gonna be able to really drive back this army. I mean, Stalkers, they're great for blinking on stuff and blinking away, but the Stalkers alone never have enough damage with them, you know? They're just...
They're that kind of weird unit where you can snowball things with them occasionally.
Yeah, they're good, but like generally just not by themselves.
Yeah. You need
Except
to
for
add
sometimes
more
in PvP weird situations. But again, 2-2 though for ByuN about to finish. He may want to wait before stimulating any further. Another great Storm. You know, at this phase of the game, ByuN has to know that that's going to happen. Protoss wants to see you stim, and you run away. Wow. And then you just storm them. It's free damage.
And that's a free Nexus right there. Taking his own 4th base right now. That Phoenix finally falls. You know, I think Classic's kind of happy to just be alive right now. He's still getting 2-2. He's crossing his fingers that he can get some more epic Psystorms. Because 2-2 and epic Psystorms are definitely one way for him to get right back into this. But, ooh, a flank coming. Oh, that's not much of a flank, though, is it? 3 units.
Okay. Starting to kite back here. Classic does have some muscle with this push. And he has basically driven ByuN away from this location, but some of these Widowmine hits are crazy.
Yeah.
War Prism is gone now. It's being remade. That really takes out the legs of this attack. It seems like Classic is going to try to commit to it. Does ByuN actually have enough? I mean, the Psystorms here, if they're good enough, everything's going to melt. But if ByuN holds his position, the push has stopped.
Yeah, very decent Psystorm to start off. Might be able to actually deny this base. He's pushing it back. I don't think he can kill it. He's going to try. He blinks in underneath that Liberator.
This is crazy ambitious here from Classic.
Oh, I think an EMP just hit those High Templars. So this might be the end here of Classic.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be cleaned up. These Archons moments away from finishing. Oh, wow. He actually blinks forward to try to soak up more damage, but ultimately it is taken out, and that's how long it takes for that War Prism to make.
Yeah.
It started making it right before the battle happened. It came all the way across the map and saved the last Archon. Then he pulled it out. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. We need a medevac. It's like, oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay.
So,
well,
for some reason,
he's like, hold on.
Pause the game.
Stay hydrated, bot. Let me know. I've been playing for an hour and I need some water.
Guys, this is just a reminder to you, if you've been watching the GSL and staring at the screen for too long, make sure to take your face away from the computer, point it somewhere for a minute, let your eyes fixate on something in the distance, come back. This game.
You better not be sitting at your desk watching GSL. You better have this on a phone and you're running on a treadmill, guys.
That's right.
At 3 a.m. wherever you are.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this
pedaling
is
furiously on a recumbent bike somewhere while you're watching this.
This is a really sick game. Like
This is
ByuN
also
got good damage early, and it's just been so exciting back and forth. Classic's battle control and PVT is insane.
Oh, ByuN has lost feeling in his hand?
Yeah.
That's
Might have
not
pinched
good.
a nerve or something there.
Yeah,
that would be really
can
sad.
absolutely happen.
Yeah.
That can absolutely happen. This is why you want to do your stretches.
Hope it's nothing too serious or anything, but yeah, I mean, I think there's all sorts of different hand things that can occur.
I'm having problems with my hand again, man. We were just talking about this before the show started.
Yeah.
I got to go get it x-rayed again. If you guys have been watching for a long time, I had a cast on.
Yeah, you had a cast on for like 2 months.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was crazy.
I
It
have
was
to
really
go
sad.
coming up here and get it x-rayed because it's hurting again.
That's really too bad. But definitely, if you ever feel anything going on with your wrists or your hands, guys, definitely get it checked out. And hopefully ByuN can wiggle his hand a little bit and feel a bit better here. But we'll see about that momentarily. ByuN putting on quite a game here in Game 3.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be scary, though. I'm not really sure where we would go from here if he can't play anymore.
I mean, I would imagine
we never
it
had
would have to be a forfeit.
exactly like this. Yeah, I would think it would be a forfeit.
I think it would have to be.
We don't have the
if you
rules
can't
for
play
this
anymore,
with us, but
I mean, the thing is, health comes first. Something like that happens. What can you do, right? We have people that come in and if you, for instance, if you have like a very bad cold on a play day, sometimes that really affects you. We had No Regret go through that.
Very sick.
If you recall, he was super sick in one of his GSL days.
Very ill is what we mean.
Yeah. Sort of was really sick on his day, actually, but so was Zest. Zest was sick on one of his days recently. And yeah, it happens, unfortunately, and hopefully he'll be all right here. But
so we might be looking at our ugly mugs for a couple more minutes here. I don't know.
Definitely could be.
I don't know how quickly we can even get this resolved. You know, it's like, do we give him a break, or like these little hot packs that the pro gamers use?
I don't know.
to
You
get their
might need to
hands
get
and
your circulation going or something. It's you never know. Like if your chair height is a little bit off of what you use at home, it could be weird.
Ergonomics are very important.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you are really tense and stuff, and you can hold yourself in like weird positions.
Oh, you know when you finish a game and it's been a really long game, and like for me, I get up here in my shoulder.
Oh, I get that.
And I like
bad.
move my neck, and I'm like,
Yeah, my whole shoulder gets tensed up.
It's crazy, yeah, all the way through my neck.
And I can tell when I had a hard game because like my butt clenches so hard that I actually raise up higher out of my seat. And then like I have to unclench all the muscles of my body at the end. But it seems, I guess, hopefully ByuN is okay now.
Okay, I mean, we're gonna let it run now and then see what happens.
Yeah. Hopefully he's.
I guess
all right. Because right now this game is.
The pain is too much. He's allowed to stop.
Yeah, well, we're not going to make you
There's
finish
a ball
your
and
series.
chain. He's got ankle bracelets on and stuff. He's not allowed to leave.
Like you are finishing this game, and you are not allowed to go 3.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Oh. Oh. Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was a fun little skirmish to watch.
Yeah. The 2 in for O. Okay, 3-3 just starting for Classic. So he's caught up in upgrades. That's really nice for him. He was well behind for quite some time. ByuN, on the other hand, never starting his 3-3. Now, ByuN is definitely getting a good-sized army, but this is not like ByuN, in my opinion, what we're seeing right now. He's just kind of sitting back. Now, maybe this is what he's decided he wants to do. I just wonder. You know, is this affecting him? Does he feel like he needs to play a slower game from here or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know. Oh, that was sick. That was really good.
He is hunting.
So if you're as good like Classic, you can keep flying around with this Warp Prism, and you just drop him out and just spray down that clump of infantry with some good Psy Storms.
Oh, Classic loses the Warp Prism.
That was sick.
That is so important. Actually, 3 High Templars were in there still, but his army is really strong here as well.
I think Classic, though, just might have this insane amount as far as numbers go. So he's kiting his heart out here, trying to just keep a distance. Now, ByuN is known for having some of the best control in the game. The problem is that we're going to run out of map to,
That's true. He's
to kite on. He has got to pick up, and he's bringing it home.
Huh. Oh, gosh. 4 stalkers waiting.
Oh,
brutal,
now you're
brutal.
marooned over there.
Yeah, that's
needs recall.
painful. I know, right? Every time I see that, I'm like, see, now I just recall there. I don't know why ByuN doesn't do that. My prism's stuck like that. I'm like, yeah, just come home. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't chrono boost enough anyways. I can bring you to any nexus.
I can do that if I don't want to lose my army or if I just need to defend something at home.
Yeah.
It's multi-purpose.
Or if I just-
Oh, no. Oh, and 1 Phoenix.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
That is a lot of value going down the tubes. I have a bad feeling that we're about to see a GG Tasteless.
Well, this is
He's
just
only got
sad.
2 units in here. It's like...
Can you
that
imagine
is-
the terror going on with those medevac pilots?
ByuN looks very upset right now.
Damn. Especially after his hand was hurting like that. In fact, I don't even believe these medevacs are really being controlled here. All right, they are gone.
All right.
And
That's really rough, though. He had, what, 6-8 medevacs there to begin. He had a chunk of army, but Classic definitely did catch him a little bit out of position while he was trying to take down those rocks. Always a dangerous thing when you're setting up an attack somewhere. Okay, ByuN has a pretty good defensive position, I would say. He has those EMPs. He needs to hit them, though. Psystorm can absolutely wreck him. He's got smaller army supply than Classic, so he really needs a good fight.
here comes the drop over here. Oh, I thought there was going to be Templars. All right, there they are.
That's...
There's like 1 Zealot that came out.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just bait.
Okay, the EMPs have gone down, but this angle is just too good here for Classic. I think he might be able to run ByuN over here.
Yeah. ByuN is absolutely not going to save this base over here. That is gone, and it's probably all of its SCVs are gone. Look at this, the zoning Psystorms as well. You just can't even walk there. It gives him time to kill everything. I mean, it's really sad that it seems like ByuN is maybe either in pain or having a hard time with his hand this game. I guess we might hear more about that later. I'm sure he'll get like an interview in the Korean media or something.
Yeah,
but
we'll have those usually press interviews after this anyways.
Regardless, you cannot deny the power of Classic's PvT.
Oh, absolutely.
It is just ridiculous how good he is in this matchup.
Wow, look at that last storm just to finish things off here. Classic's going to continue to push down, and with ByuN just about a screen length away from being on top of the barracks, that will be it. GG.
Wow.
Classic 3-0, quite the opposite series.
You can see ByuN really seems crushed here. Yeah, quite an opposite series. That third game, I thought ByuN strategically opened really interestingly. I think he started to get a handle on how Classic was playing. He was putting out quite a nice game, but Classic just really showing that he can like do anything with this matchup. He's an artist against Terran. It's crazy.
Well, he seems to understand Terran a lot better than even some of these Terran players get the matchup. And he just knows where they can go and what they can do. And
for both sides of the matchup, I think he's just the best in this matchup.
Yeah.
There's no Terran that gets it like him. There's no Protoss that gets it like him. And there's certainly no Zerg that gets it like him. Except maybe Rogue. He probably gets it just as well.
Dude, great day today. Hope that ByuN's hand or wrist is feeling better.
Yeah, I hope that's not doesn't become an issue for him. Jeez.
All right, we're going to have an interview now with Classic.
경이로운 100% 승률을 유지하게 된 김도호 선수 만나보겠습니다.
A 100% win rate against Terran this year. It's Classic who moves on. Congratulations, he says thank you.
올라가네요. 먼저 소감 어떠신가요?
우선 오랜만에 4강에 올라가게 되어서
You made it to another semifinals. How do you feel?
4강은 그래도 1년에 한 번씩은 올라가는데
I'm really happy to be here.
4강에서 많이 떨어지거든요. 이번에는 진짜
I guess I get to the semifinals at least once a year, but I'm always eliminated at that point. So I'm hoping to advance further this time.
이 빈틈없는 수비만으로는 설명이 안 돼요. 이렇게 압도적인 경기가 나올 수 있는 뭐 김도 선수만의 포인트가 있을까요?
So it was a very one-sided performance, but it looked flawless as far as defense from you. What is your secret?
플레이 해본 적도 있어가지고 좀 도움이 되는 것 같기도 하고.
네.
저그전에서는 되게
I've just been playing a lot of Terran matches, so that helps.
테란전에서는 되게 자신감이 넘치더라고요 경기 내에서. 그래서 되게 그냥.
Whenever I face Terrans, I'm always just very confident. So I think I've pretty much figured the matchup out.
이 무패 포스 때문인지 이 상대가 오히려 또 위축되는 느낌이 있었거든요.
So you're this invincible Protoss.
네, 아무래도 레드에서 해보면 되게
A lot of Terrans
잘하시는데
feel
오늘은
pretty
좀
intimidated playing against you. Do you feel the intimidation of a lot of Terran players when you're facing off against them? Yeah, I kind of feel like I've just studied a lot of mistakes that the players have made, as well as some mistakes that I've made. I've also made some mistakes, but I felt I was pretty much warmed up and able to play my games here today. So, in fact, this game was after the patch.
저도 되게 연습하면서 잘하는
We thought Terran might be playing better, but apparently not against you. What's your take on that?
솔직히 오늘
No.
이렇게 3대 0으로
I was
이길
actually
줄
expecting
몰랐는데 그래도 제가
tonight's games are going to be very, very tough.
전에서만큼은
I actually never thought it was going to be a 3-0 tonight.
오늘 이렇게 이긴 것 같고 4강이
But as long as
더
it's PBT,
잘하는
I feel pretty confident.
4강이 진짜 중요할 것
In the
같아요.
semifinals, I think
조성주 선수
I think Maru is a lot stronger than ByuN, so I'm going to have to really go back to the drawing board on that and try to come up with a good plan.
혹시 김도우 선수에게도 많이 중요했었습니까?
그렇죠. 아무래도 저그한테는 제가 막 4대 0으로 진 적도 많고.
Do you have any preference on who you were going to face in the semifinals compared to Maru and Rogue?
선수가 올라왔으면 좋겠다 했는데 올라오더라고요. 되게 재미있을 것 같아요.
Actually, I've lost so many games against Rogue in the past. It's always very one-sided too, so I'm actually pretty grateful to be playing, taking on Maru.
김도우 선수를 원한대요. 어떤 의미로 받아들이셨어요?
근데 뭐 저도 성주를 격하게 원해가지고.
Also, Maru mentioned he wants to face Classic in his interview.
제가 2014년
Yeah, it's great for both of us.
성주를 4강에서 이기고 결승을
I think we're both happy with this pairing.
좋은 기억을 이제 생각하면서 이번에 꼭 결승 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
I remember in 2014 I defeated Maru in the past, and I made it to the finals, so I look forward to repeating history.
직후의 슈토에서도 또 이기셨었잖아요. 자신감이 있으실 것 같습니다. 그럼 마지막으로
So the last Super Tournament, you also managed to eliminate Maru.
1년 만에 이렇게
So what are your determinations for the season?
올라가게 됐는데 제가 작년에
Well, everybody, I made it to the semifinals after about a year.
보여드렸어요. 4강에서 1시간 만에
The last year I failed pretty badly.
준비 잘해가지고
And the games, all the games were done, at least for mine, were done within the hour.
네, 알겠습니다. 이번엔 다른 사강
I'm going to prepare really hard and show better performance
네, 감사합니다.
this time around. Okay, congratulations. He says thank you.
네, 이렇게 자신이 원하는 테란전을 하게 된
There
김도우
we have it.
선수 만나봤습니다.
Classic advances to that round of 4 to take on Maru. God, these guys have been at the top of every tournament lately.
They really have.
Insane. But that is going to be a dynamite TVP, and it's far enough away. It's a week away from today. So they get to practice that matchup nonstop for a week.
No matter how our matches go for day 2, which will be on Saturday, 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time, it's going to be a PBT again.
That's true. Two PBTs.
That's right. We're either going to have a TVT final, a PvP final, or a PVT final. Artosis.
Wow.
So this will be on Saturday. It's Zest versus Deer and TY versus Gumiho. You do not want to miss out on this.
Yeah. I mean, those are two absolutely awesome mirror matchups, and I think both definitely can go either way. This has just been a great GSL so far, and today's been fantastic as well.
Oh, life is good, guys.
Yes. And tomorrow's the Pylon Show, so definitely check that out.
Yep. Be there or be square. And
be there or be in control.
That's right. So, this was a great day today. I hope that ByuN's hand, I know we all wish him well for his hand and his wrist. That sucks.
Yeah.
And look, that best of 5 with Rogue versus Maru, what a treat. That was so cool.
That was insane. And just the PVT clinic from Classic as well, always fun.
So that is all the time we have. We love you guys. We will see you on Saturday. Be there. Mwah.
Game activated.
2018 GSL Season 2 Overgrowth.